Hello on a Tuesday to you. Glad to have you with us this afternoon. Welcome to the program here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone, and where you are always welcome to tune in via the iHeartRadio app. My name is Craig Way. Glad to have you with us. Also pleased to have the producer of the program, Jake Herman, alongside. Busy program for you this afternoon. First off, just to let you know, and this is going in chronological order here, we will keep you updated on what's going on with the first of the two semifinals in the World Cup. I know it doesn't appeal to everybody, but there are those who have an interest in it. France and Spain are playing in the semifinals, and they're playing in Arlington right now, or as they like to say, Dallas Stadium, as FIFA likes to call it. And they are just underway. So obviously scoreless. They've just started there in Dallas in the first semifinal. The second semifinal will be at this time tomorrow when England takes on Argentina. But France and Spain are playing right now. We'll keep you updated on that. Now, additionally, here's some other things. The baseball All-Star game is tonight, as we know, in Philadelphia. And we'll kind of have a little bit of a breakdown of that, what to look for. I mean, I know it's an all-star game. I will say this, and I continue to say this, that as pro sports all-star games have in large measure jumped the shark for me, doesn't really hold that much interest. Baseball all-star game is the one that most closely resembles a regular baseball game. Doesn't identically do it because of all the pitching changes that happen, every inning and all that. But that's okay because you're still talking about outstanding level of pitching coming in at every point. So yeah, I'm going to watch it tonight. I'm interested in it and watch it. And we will kind of get a preview of it, but also mainly a baseball midseason evaluation from our MLB insider, Gene Watson from the Chicago White Sox front office. That'll be coming up in the 4:00 hour. So we'll visit with Gino on the 4:00 hour to talk baseball, the All-Star game, the Home Run Derby last night, and kind of a midseason eval, and the draft, because the baseball draft has happened. We know about that. We talked about some of the Longhorns who went yesterday, and we'll talk more about that as well coming up. But Gene Watson will join us there. In the 3:00 hour, and I understand if you didn't see this yesterday, this came down yesterday in the midst of everything that was going on, the run-up to the Home Run Derby and previews of World Cup, and there's football things, and one of Jake's favorite pastimes is to peruse the NBA Summer League. He let us by the way know yesterday on the program he has less than zero interest in the Summer League. Is that the deal?
And even less interest in folks watching the games and declaring players busts or steals.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's ridiculous. That's silly. I'm with you on that.
It's not the same thing. It's not even as close to regular season NBA as spring training is to baseball.
No, but you see some things in it. I saw one thing that pleased me yesterday. I saw the former Longhorn Jason Kent have a good game for Portland. And you think for a minute, Jason Kent, when did he go? Oh, yeah, it was a couple of years ago. He was playing when Rodney Terry was coaching and all that. Jason Kent wasn't even in organized basketball last year. Wasn't even in the G League. And so for him to get an opportunity and show what he could do, I thought that was pretty cool.
How about what Arthur Kaluma did a couple of days ago with the Lakers?
There's another guy. That's another guy that we're talking about, So yeah, it's there. You see things and glimpses, not just as it relates to guys or the team you follow or whatever. It's just there's other interesting things that come out of the summer league that you might not, certainly probably wouldn't see, at least not in large measure, at the largest level in the NBA. But there's that. But yesterday, speaking of basketball, there was some information that came down from the NCAA about the NCAA basketball tournament. And we've already seen, quite a bit happen with, what's going to happen with the expansion of the tournament field to 76. And it's got a lot of people all up in arms about that. Others like it. Others couldn't care, so on and so forth. I don't think that in the final analysis, it's going to make a great difference in terms of the cream rising to the top. It's going to give some more teams some opportunities to get into it. That's not what yesterday's announcement was about. We already know about that, both with the men and men's tournament and with the women's tournament. Now, they did have an announcement with regard to the women's tournament, and it's with regard to seeding, and that there's going to be a change made, whereas we've seen on the men's side and the women's side through last year, in their efforts to balance the bracket and make the regionals as competitive as possible, sometimes the top 16 teams, in fact, I don't think it's ever happened, that the top 16 teams were all placed in one region. That hadn't happened. According to the NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament Committee, that is going to happen. They're going to make that change for the coming season, that they're going to put you seated in the regional that you should be in based on your seeding. So I got to thinking about it, and I texted Vic Schaefer last night, the Texas women's head coach, and said, "Hey, you got any thoughts on that?" And he said, "Yeah, I got some thoughts on it." And I said, "Would you care to pop on and share them with us tomorrow?" And he said, "Sure." And so Vic Schaefer, the Texas women's head coach, will be. We'll check with him about not just about that, but we'll ask about the offseason work that's going on, the new look that his roster will have, things like that. So we'll visit with Vic Schaefer to talk some things like that. That's in the 3:00 hour, so we'll do that as well. And as always, we're more than happy to take your questions, your thoughts, your comments. All you have to do is text the word Texas, followed by your question or comment to 81530. You text the word Texas, followed by your question or comment to 81530. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. And so you can text us that way. You can also reach us via text if you so choose. Via your voice, by using our TalkBack feature, using the TalkBack microphone via the iHeartRadio app. And what you do with that is you download the iHeartRadio app. Real easy to do. It's absolutely free. And then once you have the app downloaded, if you haven't already, all you have to do then is search AM 1300 The Zone, and it'll pop right up. So when it pops up, you're going to see two buttons there. One's a little white triangular button. That's, if you push that, you're going to hear what's going on in the air, and that's fine. But there's another button there. There's a red one with a little white microphone. That's the key. That's the TalkBack microphone. You push that button, and you can leave us a voice message up to 30 seconds, and we can pull it up right here. So you can hear somebody saying, "I don't care about the All-Star game anymore. I don't want to, or whatever." Or, "Hey, I think they ought to do this with it," or, whatever. So you can do it that way and actually have your voice heard through the TalkBack microphone, our TalkBack feature on AM 1300 The Zone, which you would search using the iHeartRadio app. So there's two ways to reach us on that. So we're happy to have you reach us on that. I was one of they said more than 20,000 customers, I might add the word victims, so to speak, yesterday, who were without internet service in their home. I live in Georgetown, and you may have heard the story by now that there was a late Sunday night, overnight, like I think it was middle of the night, whatever, fiber optic cut by vandals who were attempting to steal copper wiring, because that can fetch some dollars if stolen. The only problem with it is, and these guys apparently didn't realize this, is that with fiber optic cables, certainly the ones that Optimum uses and most internet companies and all, they don't have copper cabling in them. So that's kind of like a do your homework thing before you vandalize, because they think they might have a line on who did it based on some video recognition or something like that. I don't know. We'll see if that happens. But in any event, what it did was I had no internet service, and it also affected T-Mobile customers. So as I mentioned at the end of the show, I was a 2-time loser yesterday because I'm a T-Mobile customer, and I was out from like early Monday morning until about 10 o'clock last night. And they said that it wasn't completely restored to that area, which is kind of on the north to northeast side of Georgetown. Well, I live in far north Georgetown. Joke that you can toss a rock from my house and land it in Gerald. It's not quite that close, but it's pretty far up north. And so those who were living up in that area, and there's a total of about 20,000 customers in the Georgetown area, and all of us lost our internet service, and those of us who were also T-Mobile customers lost it. So I had no phone service and no internet service from like late night Sunday night. I didn't realize I still had it when I went to bed. I woke up yesterday morning, and didn't have it. So from overnight, sometimes Sunday night, 2, 3 in the morning, whenever it was that it happened, that the vandalism occurred, all the way up until around 10 o'clock last night, I had no internet service and I had no phone service. It got restored, at least to the part that I live in, like around 10 o'clock. But I got an indication that it wasn't completely, totally 100% repaired and restored until I think about 4 o'clock this morning, something like that.
So, Craig, I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
It happened on the one night that the only major sporting event in town was on Netflix.
That's right.
So you're really in a sports desert.
I had no shot at all to watch the Home Run Derby. None at all.
You probably haven't been in that big of a sports desert for most of your life.
Unless I was, by design out somewhere.
Right.
And did it. So, yeah, I was without it.
You were stranded.
But I did see all the highlights this morning. We're going to talk about that. We're going to hear from the 2 finalists who got there. So we'll do all of that coming up. And like I said, we'll take your questions, your thoughts, and all of that there on the text line. Text the word Texas, followed by your question or comment to 81530. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. And or you can reach us via the talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. Download the free and easy iHeartRadio app and then search AM 1300 The Zone. It'll come up. Then you push the red button with a white microphone. You can leave us a message up to 30 seconds. All right, we're going to recap the All-Star Home Run Derby coming up next, and we got a lot of other topics to get to here on a Tuesday afternoon. Yes, we do have Inconceivable, and boy, do we have a couple of items for you on Inconceivable today. We'll get to all that and more right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
Baseball season is here, and the Round Rock Express are ready to take the field. Hear all the action right here on 1300 The Zone. Whether you're at home or on the road, stay connected with Round Rock Express Baseball live on 1300 The Zone.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival,
presented by Capital One,
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena. Streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com.
Gear up, music fans. Hyundai is back again as a proud partner of the 2026 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Join us as our electrifying all-star lineup hits the stage like never before.
Your one stop for advertising? Call 844-844-iHeart.
Progressive Insurance makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I've gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Now here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Jack. That's Jack. Enter it now.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
Chicago, 1989.
White victim, female, pretty, wealthy.
A white woman's murder shocks the city. A black man from the projects comes forward with information about the case.
He said the police are his friends.
But out of nowhere, he goes from star witness to prime suspect.
And then that's it. They turn on him.
The system is hungry for a conviction. Lee Harris is sentenced to 90 years.
I got 90 years for killing somebody I have never seen.
Behind bars, Lee finds an unlikely ally in his cellie, Robert. The pair are like chalk and cheese. There's no way their paths would ever cross on the outside. But as a fellow inmate, Robert sees through the lies and vows to do the unthinkable. Clear Lee's name.
This is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at Pontiac Correctional Center.
If you're with me, you're golden. I'll take care of you.
I'm gonna be with you. You stuck with me for life.
Together, they wage a 20-year war against Chicago's darkest corners. Corrupt detectives, jailhouse informants, an entire system built on fear. This is the Crying Wolf Podcast, a story of two men bound by injustice. Friendship forged where hope is almost lost. Of a city haunted by its secrets. And the quest for redemption, no matter the price. Listen to the Crying Wolf Podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
iHeartRadio brings you New to View, Streaming Edition.
Looking for something to watch? Listen up. Next week on Netflix Tuesday, it's a comedy special as Bill Maher accepts the Kennedy Center Mark Twain Prize for American Humor and the debut of the 3rd season of WWE Unreal. Next Wednesday on Netflix, the premiere of the French action drama Elite Force, as well as the documentary film A Toxic Love Story. Next Thursday, the launch of Season 2 of the Netflix romantic drama Ransom Canyon, starring Josh Duhamel and Minka Kelly. Next Friday on Netflix, the debut of the new comedy film 72 Hours, starring Kevin Hart and SNL's Marcelo Hernandez. Next Monday on Hulu, the 15th season start of King of the Hill. Next Wednesday on Hulu, the 2nd season premiere of the Korean drama A Shop for Killers. Next Thursday on Paramount Plus, the 4th season launch of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Next Friday on Apple TV, the debut of the comedy film The Dink starring Jake Johnson. Next Friday over on Tubi, the start of the new adult animated comedy series Breaking Bear. And next Sunday on AMC Plus, the 3rd season premiere of The Walking Dead, Dead City.
And that's New to View on iHeartRadio. Happy binging.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, covering the 40 acres.
Is that enough? Jordan Walker wins it! Come on, baby! It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
It's a Texan Tuesday here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. In the 4 o'clock hour, we'll have included in our return cuts an offering from the King, George Strait. In the 3 o'clock hour, something from the iconic Willie Nelson. And here in the 2 o'clock hour, always, something from the immortal Stevie Ray Vaughan. On the crossfire there.
Indeed we are, and we got the studio version today.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
polished.
not a live version. Yes.
Santa Maria from Matt Vasgersian bringing us back there, too.
Yeah. So that was And first of all, before we get back to the baseball update, still scoreless. France and Spain. They played 20 minutes so far. They're in Arlington in the World Cup semifinal there. So they are scoreless 20 minutes in.
This 20 minutes could have probably been an email.
Yeah.
One good chance. Spain had a free kick, wasted it, blasted right into the wall.
Yeah, this is in the stage where they say the teams are feeling each other out.
And
just kind of get a feel for
an early goal may open things up.
Yeah, hadn't happened yet. Okay, so that was Matt Vasgersian on the call of Jordan Walker's home run to win the Home Run Derby. Now, to kind of set the scene for you a little bit, yesterday on the show, Jake was thinking that it was probably going to be Bryce Harper winning it in his home ballpark for the second time in his career, which I don't think anybody's ever done that since he did it when he played for your Washington Nationals. But he got knocked out in the first round, did he?
He did. He missed the cut. It was going to be one Philly through and one Philly out because Bryce was last and Kyle Schwarber was the fourth qualifying score to get through to the semis. So it was a bittersweet moment there for the crowd. And for a few minutes, I thought I had simply picked the wrong Philly because it was Schwarber who was runner-up to Harper.
He was the guy who I picked, and I thought he might win. And it looked like he might because Schwarber beat Wilson Contreras in the semifinals. And then the Cardinals youngster, Jordan Walker, managed to get past Junior Caminero, who was really the popular pick of a lot of folks, including a lot of the panelists we had talked about yesterday. He was definitely, on the list of a lot of people who thought it might happen. And, but it was really weird that, Harper got eliminated in the first round. He only hit 8 home runs. Jack Caglione was another guy that was a popular choice. He only hit 8. Munetaka Murakami, a popular choice, only had 9. Ben Rice only had 7.
They were 9 majestic, backspun, high-arcing beauties. Yeah. I enjoyed Murakami's round.
Yeah, just didn't have enough of them. So, then they were really getting down to the semifinals and then to the finals, and the Philadelphia crowd apparently was just going ballistic, right?
Oh,
for
yeah.
Schwarber.
There was, if you weren't Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper, you were getting booed.
Yeah.
If you dropped the ball in the outfield, you got booed.
Yeah.
If you stepped up and hit a bunch of home runs and celebrated, you weren't wearing a Phillies uniform, you got booed. It was a little much on the booing, but it made for a really fun atmosphere.
All right. Hey, update, Spain has just scored.
Yeah, it was a penalty. It was a clumsy penalty conceded by France. Lamine Yamal drew it on a ball that was right at the corner of the box. French defender was trying to roundhouse clear it, and instead he kicked Yamal right in the hip, gave up a penalty.
Right in the box. Not a good thing. Spain gets the penalty, and they have the early 1-0 lead as they near the first hydration break of the match. So that'll be coming up in a little bit. But it's 1-0 right now, Spain on top. All right, so back to the Home Run Derby. It was a new format, in case you didn't hear. There were 20 untimed swings because that had been an unpopular thing in the past, being on the clock, and there were a lot of people did not like that. Thought guys were rushed and they were over swinging and things like that because of what was happening with the clock.
Yeah, and then you'd see rounds sort of play out the string where you knew a guy was not going to advance,
right,
and you saw frustration with it. This was also great to have the clock be eliminated because fans got to admire these home runs.
Yeah. Didn't have to happen bam, 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 rapid fire. So what it did was it allowed for 20 untimed swings in the first round, 15 in the semifinals, and 15 in the final. Now, you mentioned Majestic Blast. Caminero had a 491-foot shot in the first round. That was the longest home run of the night. Nobody topped 500 feet. It landed 1 foot farther than Wilson Contreras' longest, which was 490 feet, also in the first round at that point. So then I mentioned that Schwarber beat Contreras in the semifinals. Walker knocked out Caminero. So now it was down to those two. And the place was going crazy, obviously, for Kyle Schwarber because I thought this was going to be the third time was going to be the charm because he'd gotten close in the past. Didn't he lose 2 years ago to Teoscar Hernandez of the Dodgers.
Right.
If I remember correctly.
And then before that was the one we talked about from 2018 in DC.
Right. Exactly. So, anyway, they got into it. They start the final round, and Schwarber hit, 11, and Walker was standing at 6 at that point?
Yeah.
All right. So
it got down to his last ball.
Swing, because here was the other rule. When you get down to your last swing, you get to keep swinging as long as you hit one out. You may be down to one. It's kind of like in challenges. One challenge, as long as you keep winning the challenge, you hold the challenge.
Can we do this in the 3-point contest?
Yeah, that would be good. You'd see him get on a roll. So he was still down, I think, 11-8 at that point.
Right.
He was down 3 to Schwarber, was Jordan Walker. Down 3, and he had 3. He had to come up with 3, and he was down to 1 swing. So, bam, hits one out for 9. Bam, another one for 10. Bam, he ties it at 11, and then hits a 407-foot blast to left to win it. Amazing. He's making this season $799,400. That's his salary. And I know to me and you and lots of people, that's a lot of money. In the baseball world, that's peanuts. That's bottom of the barrel. $799,400. He got $1 million for winning it last night. So that was a good story. It did kind of ruin the evening for the Philadelphia fans who wanted to see Schwarber win it. But Jordan Walker of the St. Louis Cardinals wins it. And he was asking as he got into that last round, and there was the pressure of what he was going to do. How could he do it? How could he hit 3 consecutive tie and then hit another one to win it? So he was asked, what was he thinking about at the time to help him with the pressure?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the pressure, people booing me. One thought was just like to stay fluid. You can't swing too hard. I'll miss the ball. And that was it. And KT did an unbelievable job just throwing money BP the whole time. So props to him.
KT is his batting practice pitcher. Kleininger Turan. Is that?
Yeah, it's his bullpen catcher. They've been together for all 3 years of Walker's big league career.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Walker always, well, you'll hear it a little later on if we get to it.
Yeah, and we will. We'll hear from him talking about Kleininger Turan a little bit later on. Meanwhile, Schwarber was asked about what Walker did, how he pulled that off. And when it got down to the last swing and he's still up 3, did he think he had it won?
I mean, that was impressive. I mean, I didn't ever think I had it won because I know anything can happen, especially when it gets down to that last ball, right? And the big one was that the ball hits the top of the wall there and snuck over, and I was like, ooh, that one's not good for us. And and then obviously you get to the last ball, you just got to go 3 the tie, I think, or it was 3 the tie or 3 to win, and 3 the tie, and he went 4th to win, and you tip your hat to him. I mean, he was able to, I was saying they were willing against him pretty much to distract him, whatever it is, to try to will that ball not to go over the fence. And he was able to slow it down and be in the moment there. And he was able to get the job done. And he was hitting some laser beams. Like, I was like, dang, man, I'm hitting these high fly balls and this guy's hitting little laser beams out. But it was really impressive what he was able to do.
Yeah, indeed. So Jordan Walker. How many of you had Jordan Walker winning it?
Now put your hands down.
Yes. I asked the same thing 2 years ago about Teoscar Hernandez. How many of you had Teo winning it? You're lying if you did. I'm a Dodger fan, and I did not expect Teo to win it, and he won it. So, yeah, that's not but that happens in this thing, the home run derby. You do get some unexpected winners. Now, you get expected winners like a Cal Raleigh. People thought, the big dumper could do it, and he did. And Pete Alonso's won it, 3 times, I think. Ken Griffey Jr. multiple times in the past. There have been guys who were really, really good at it that could crush it and knock the ball out. And Jordan Walker's an extremely talented player. Got a chance to see him play in St. Louis a couple of weeks ago when I was on vacation. But I don't know that anybody thought he would win the home run derby. I put it this way. I neither read nor heard one prediction of him winning it.
Yeah,
there were too many other popular predictions, whether it be Schwarber or Harper or Caminero, even Ben Rice, was a popular choice by a lot of people.
He struggled a little bit, and Jordan Walker was one of the longest odds to win coming in. He had 8-1 odds, depending on where you looked. Only Ben Rice and Wilson Contreras had longer odds.
Was that according to FanDuel?
It's according to CBS Sports, and I'm sure they're getting their odds from somewhere.
Yeah, from the boys in the desert. I'd like to be one of those guys who set the odds for the home run derby. Of course, there's lots of weird prop bets and things like that happen. And of course, and there'll be prop bets for tonight's All-Star game as well. Who scores the first run? Who hits the first home run? Who scores what proves to be the winning run? I think I saw a prop bet. Who commits the first error? So
this is the weekend where you learn who's got the gambling problem in the friend group.
Yeah, exactly. Like the guy that apparently took his cue from Bryce Harper off the Cameo video and got all kinds of invites from DraftKings and went ahead and did it and developed a gambling problem with a $2 million debt. Now he's suing them, saying, you guys provided a gateway drug for me, in terms of the gambling. That was the story we had yesterday. All right. It is 1-0. Spain still leading France in that World Cup semifinal. It was on a penalty kick. They are now about to be in their 33rd minute of play. They're in Arlington. That's the first of the two semifinals. The second one is tomorrow, and that's England and Argentina. And then the weekend, in the World Cup, they do what's not done in any other major professional sport, and that is they have a third place game. They play for third. And I remember I had an anniversary of a Facebook post come up, and it was like from 2018. And I talked about I think it was Germany against the Netherlands. So anyway, it was a third place match. And I said, Americans are rolling their eyes over this kind of thing because the third place game went the way of the dinosaur they used to have in the NCAA basketball tournament all the way up through 81. They said the thing that really killed it off, but there had been a lot of adverse reaction to playing the third place game in the NCAA basketball tournament in the Final Four for years. It had its moments. To this day, the record for the most points scored in a Final Four game was done by Bill Bradley, later of the New York Knicks and the Senator. Bill Bradley, who for Princeton in 1965 scored 58 points against Wichita State. It was in the third place game. It was in the third, but it counts as a Final Four game in the NCAA record books. So he scored 58. That was in a third place game. When I was 13, my dad had tickets to the 1974 Final Four in Greensboro. He didn't take me. I wanted him to take me, but he knew NC State was in it. I was a Carolina fan. He goes, you don't even care about State. You're a Carolina. He was going to take his brother anyway, my uncle. It made sense. So that third place game that was played before the championship was UCLA against Kansas. UCLA had won 7 straight national titles, but they got beat in double overtime in the semifinals by North Carolina State with David Thompson and Tom Burleson and that great team that went on to beat Marquette to win the national championship. But, a lot of people thought that UCLA streak ended with a loss to NC State in the national championship. It wasn't the national championship. It was in the semifinals. So NC State would go on to play Marquette for the national title. UCLA had to play the third place game, and Bill Walton almost boycotted it. He almost said, I'm not going to play. He ended up playing. UCLA, I think, ended up winning the game. So the different stories surrounding these third place games. And so they get down to 1981, and it's going to be North Carolina against Indiana for the national championship in Philadelphia. Isaiah Thomas is playing for Indiana in that. They had both won their semifinal games. North Carolina had beaten Virginia, and Ralph Sampson. It was like the fourth time they played that year in one semifinal. Indiana beat LSU in the other semifinal. So LSU has to play Virginia in the third place game. That day was marked by another occasion, the assassination attempt of President Reagan. He was shot by John Hinckley Jr. and recovered in surgery, but he was shot. So there was a lot of questions about whether to even play the national championship game that night. And ultimately, the decision was made that they would play. Word had come. The president was out of danger. He's in recovery, and he said, yes, they should play the game. Well, if they're going to play the championship, that means they have to play the third place game, which was Indiana and LSU. And people were thinking, if you think a national championship game would be meaningless on a day like this, what do you think a third place game would be? So they asked, I think it was Rudy Macklin of LSU, after the game, do you think you should have played this game given what happened? And Macklin gave the response that they said if there was any one comment that killed off the third place game, it was Rudy Macklin's comment when they said, do you think you should have played a third place game on the day that the president was shot? He said, why not? He ain't no kin of mine, was the actual line. Third place game was gone after that year. Did not return. But they do play it in the World Cup. They do play the the third place. And from what I understand, it's a completely different mindset. It's kind of almost like playing an Olympic matchup. There are salary incentives for those players on those national teams. If it's a win, if they play well, if they score. So there's all kinds of other incentives to play that third place match. That'll happen on Saturday. And then, of course, it clears the stage for the World Cup final on Sunday. And we'll see. I would say this. If it's England and France in the third place game, it'll have some intrigue. If it's just like it would be if it was England and France in the championship. But right now, Spain's up on France, and England would still have to beat Argentina.
Well, and I'll tell you, Argentina being in the third place game would have intrigue. It's Messi's potential last time on the World Cup stage. The Golden Boot race would be maybe decided in that game.
Yeah. Could be Harry Kane's final match on the stage for England. Who knows? Mbappe's going to be around a while. He's going to be all-time leading scorer in World Cup history before his career is done. In fact, he's pretty close to it now, but he'll be the all-time scorer when it happens. All right. Again, it's 1-0 Spain on top of France. Up next, we bring Inconceivable here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
The Professional Fighters League returns to the Moody Center in Austin on Saturday, July 18th, as former champions Johnny Albin and Ipakasagai square off in a rematch with the interim middleweight title on the line. Enter to win tickets now at am1300thezone.com.
DraftKings is live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, Texas. The Cup is down to its final matches. One trophy, one champion. DraftKings has you covered for every single one. The DraftKings app is now live in Texas, so whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, and every moment, all in one app. Right here in Texas, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with code AM1300. Spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards over 21 days. Code AM1300 in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issue in non-withdrawable prediction dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends July 19th. Terms at dkng.co/predictions promo.
Delivering more is just how we do business at Group 1 Ford of South Austin. And more selection with our huge inventory of brand new Fords and quality pre-owned rides. More value with bigger deals. And more confidence with our Austin family that's been serving Central Texas drivers for over 2 decades. Whether you're hauling gear to Zilker Park or commuting down Mopac, you get more with the team that knows Ford best. Group 1 Ford of South Austin, home of transparent pricing and no dealer add-ons. Visit us on South I-35 or online at group1fordofsouthaustin.com. He's dribbling the ball with everything on the line. He's driving down the pitch. He's facing price hikes and cuts past him. Carrier Contracts tries to block him. Oh, he leaves him in the dust. He's at the edge of the box. He cuts past the nonstop group chat trash talk. He clears on goal. He shoots. Goal! Unlimited data for $25 a month forever!
Visit your local Boost Mobile store today to get unlimited data with a price that never changes. Boost Mobile. After 30 GB, customers may experience lower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost $25 unlimited plan.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup update.
It's world number 1 France against world number 3 Spain in today's World Cup semifinal. Spanish star Lamine Yamal looking for his first goal since the group stage.
There it is! There he is! Lamine Yamal, first career World Cup goal!
Yamal celebrated his 19th birthday yesterday. Coming up tomorrow, the other semifinal with England facing Argentina.
Download the iHeartRadio app for live Fox coverage of every game.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
Just before midnight on Saturday, February 19th, 2005, Danielle Embo and her friend Richard Patrone left a crowded Philadelphia bar. The two 30-somethings planned to walk to Richard's truck and drive home, but they never made it.
It does not make sense. It's like they literally vanished.
The two were never seen again.
Not just them, but the truck disappeared into the ether.
Was it an accident, or were they murdered?
No one had a motive to kill them.
Those same questions frustrated law enforcement. The FBI called it murder for hire.
Who killed these two individuals and how did they get rid of them?
Both of them weren't the target. One of them was the target. The other one was wrong place, wrong time.
But which victim was the intended target and why?
It was definitely murder for hire for Danielle, not for Richard.
You're right, it could be. But it also could be something you're talking too.
No one was looking to kill Richard. No one.
He's your son. And in your eyes, he's innocent. But in my eyes, he's just some guy my sister was with.
Fingers were pointed, allegations were made, and lines were drawn.
That drove the wedge between the families.
What happened to Danielle and Richard?
I think that whatever happened to my dad and Danielle was planned and orchestrated and thought out.
I'm Andrea Gunning. In this series, I dig into my own investigation to find answers for the families and get justice for Richard and Danielle.
I just want some peace for my sister's soul, and I want some peace for my mother.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, your home for the Horns.
Well, Inconceivable's got some pretty interesting offerings today here on this Tuesday. And it does not today include a fast food, junk food updates. Not in its truest sense.
Oh.
Here's the deal. I've heard about this by now. There's an outbreak of bacteria going on across the U.S. called cyclosporiasis. It's an intestinal illness that is linked to contaminated food or water. There have been cases reported in more than 30 states, and the totals are expected to rise during the summer peak. Those states, by the way, include Texas, and includes where I was just on vacation, North Carolina. Did not include South Carolina, obviously, oddly enough, but it did include North Carolina. But anyway, about 30 states, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has reported hundreds of lab-confirmed infections nationwide, though state-level figures are higher due to reporting delays. Michigan remains the hardest hit state. 2,640 cases reported, 44 hospitalizations. You say, so what is this? Well, cyclosporiasis is caused by a parasite that's commonly spread through fresh produce like fruits and vegetables.
The healthy food update.
Yeah. Jake Herman, big eater of fresh fruits and vegetables, are you not?
Oh, yeah. I'll have an apple a day. I'll have lots of salads, cucumbers, carrots.
Yeah.
Not last night.
Well, because if you get the intestinal bug, the symptoms include, and this is going to sound familiar to you, diarrhea, nausea, stomach cramps, fatigue. All this stuff can last for weeks if untreated. A lag between exposure and symptom onset can make it difficult to trace the source. Now, authorities have not identified a definitive sign of origin for the outbreak, but early findings in Michigan point to lettuce and other leafy greens as a potential common factor. As part of the probe, officials are examining possible restaurant exposures, including Taco Bell.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So this is the part of the fast food, junk food update where it comes in. Some locations have removed ingredients such as lettuce and cilantro from their menus following recall notice, though no direct link to Taco Bell has been confirmed.
You know, it could be argued whether cilantro belongs at a Taco Bell to begin with, but I know that's less important than figuring out the source of the outbreak.
Well, there's a lot of folks who figure you can get this kind of symptoms from Taco Bell and it has nothing to do with cyclosporiasis.
No, that's also
just
right.
like that, you know.
There's also some people that are going to take this and use it to eat like their elementary school selves again.
Yeah, right. Cameron says he always accuses Taco Bell of using, as he says, cat meat, but that's not the case. Anyway, got a couple of airline stories for you. One, you've heard us talk about this, and you've read about it as well, how airlines are really cracking down on what they call skip lagging.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know what skip lagging is. For those who don't know what skip lagging is, it's called, they refer to it as hidden city ticketing. In other words, let's say you want to go to DFW, but a fare from Austin to DFW is like $400 for whatever reason. However, you could go, say, on Southwest, stopping in Love Field and going on to St. Louis for $250. So you get on the plane, you just get off at Dallas Love and you don't go on and you only pay $250. Well, the airlines have started to figure this out and they're cracking down on skip lagging and all that kind of stuff. You get fined for it, you can get, but what it has resulted in is they will cancel your return flight if they believe that you're skip lagging. The problem is now there's been an abundance of flights that have gotten canceled due to weather or mechanical whatever. And then a person will be moved to another flight by the airline, or in specific, they reschedule. Same airline, but they called and got on another flight. But then the people who are the gatekeepers of this thing are looking at this. They're going, here, somebody is skip lagging. And they cancel the return part of their trip, even though they ended up flying both legs of it to begin with.
Oh, boy.
So that's one of the complaints that's going on right now. All right, I have another traveler complaint. Travelers are starting to complain about what they call hidden gates or backroom boarding gates at one specific airport. Now, a traveler shared a video on TikTok in which he reached a boarding gate at this airport that did not have a conventional gate number. Instead, it was labeled with an infinity sign, and its decor prompted many people to compare it to Backrooms. Are you familiar with the film?
Yeah, I've seen
Backrooms?
the trailer. I haven't seen the movie. It looks freaky.
It's a horror film based on an internet-spawned legend of dimension containing an endless array of empty, odd rooms.
Kind of like Severance, that TV show,
Yeah.
if people have watched that.
And they say that this has happened at this one specific airport. The passenger asked for an explanation of the boarding gate, which had several other peculiar aspects in the video. Earlier this year, an incident at the same airport went viral after a passenger attempted to check in for his flight 2 days later. So there's backroom boarding gates spotted at a major U.S. airport. You know what airport it is? Austin Bergstrom International. ABIA. There was a video shared by a traveler named Natal last week showing this bizarre infinity-labeled boarding gate at ABIA with a pair of French doors cracked open with white lights spilling out. She wrote in text, superimposed on the video, asking for someone to explain what the boarding gate is. Why does the light of heaven shine through the doors?
Wait, I've walked past this infinity gate before. I always thought it was for kids.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's something else. I don't know. But that's the infinity gate there. Okay, I got one more story. This is something I saved for today. Linda pointed out. Headline: hundreds of venomous snakes loose after floods in China.
Nope. Okay, turn my mic off.
All right. So Typhoon Maisak caused catastrophic flooding in Zhangji. It killed at least 39 people and destroyed homes, farms, and infrastructure. If that wasn't bad enough, around 900 snakes, including cobras and other venomous snakes, escaped from Hangzhou farms after enclosures were inundated. Authorities deployed rescue teams, stocked anti-venom, and warned residents to avoid floodwaters and report any snake findings. So I have a picture of this.
Nope, I'll pass.
You need to see this.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you really do need to see this. All these snakes are floating down the river.
I'm going to see it again in my nightmares.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
So it's going there, and what's really cool is on the tail end is when the cobra sticks its head out of the water.
No, that's not cool. I don't
and
want
it's
to see
looking
that.
at you.
No, I don't want to see that.
Look at hundreds of snakes just floating down the river.
It's like one of those beer cup snakes you see at the football games.
Yes, absolutely.
I saw one of those floating down next to me the one time I floated the river in New Braunfels, and that was scary.
All right, so get this. Specialist snake catching teams, some working continuously for 2 days, have captured between 2,000 and 3,000 snakes, most of them non-venomous rat snakes. Local authorities are inspecting damaged farms, monitoring flood conditions, and distributing safety guidance. But there's some 900 at least poisonous ones that are out there.
Ugh.
Cobras and ones that are called, what was that one? Kraits, Kraits.
Oh, those are really bad. You do not want to get bit by a sea crate.
Yeah. And green pit vipers.
Ugh.
I think that's going to be the name of my fantasy football team this fall, the green pit vipers.
You know that's a type of sunglasses too.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Maybe I'll get sunglasses as the logo or something. I don't know.
Yeah, put them on a helmet.
We'll be back to wrap up hour number 1 on 13 Under the Zone.
Need to order food for your workplace?
Yep.
That's a rhetorical question. Who are you?
Oh, I'm May, an admin who loves EasyCater.
Well, may I continue? I'm the voice of EasyCater. And don't you have work?
Actually, EasyCater saves me so much time ordering food for the office, I thought I'd take a minute to spread the word.
Well, this is a 30-second spot, and we're halfway through, so...
Right. EasyCater gives you a huge variety of restaurants to feed your workplace. Any group size, any budget, anytime, anywhere. How's that?
You trying to take my gig?
Start an order at easycater.com.
What's going on?
The official language of football is trash talk, late-night group chats, memes, and unbelievable highlight clips. That's why Boost Mobile brings you our new global connection plan. The first plan ever made for WhatsApp. Get unlimited data, talk and text, international roaming, and calls to over 100 countries for just $40 a month.
$40 price includes $5 a month auto pay discount. After 40 gigabytes of premium high-speed data, speed will be lowered. Coverage not available everywhere. Visit store or boostmobile.com for details.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
When power goes out and cell networks fail, AM radio can be a lifeline with local news, weather, and emergency information. But time is running out. AM radio could disappear from new cars unless Congress acts. Please text the 2 letters AM to 39179 and tell Congress to vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Text the letters AM to 39179. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text stop to stop. This message furnished by this station.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
There was a murder in central Ohio that many people still don't want to talk about. The man who committed that crime once sat on death row, but now he's on the run. His name is Lester Eubanks. Lester didn't tunnel out of prison or scale a stone wall. On a December morning in 1973, he and a small group of inmates were granted permission to walk outside prison walls. His handcuffs were taken off. He changed into civilian clothing, and he and 3 others were driven to a local mall. They were told they could wander the stores and were asked to return to a designated meeting spot. Hours later, all the inmates came back, except Lester Eubanks, and he hasn't been seen since.
He had a full plan. The guy had a plan.
I was just astounded that this could actually happen.
There were many years when it seemed like no one was even looking for Lester. But recently, his whereabouts have become the focus of the U.S. Marshal Service, the federal agents who track fugitives. The case is testing the marshals.
Those 9 lives are running out, and we're going to catch up with Lester.
And is being urged on by those hurt most by Lester's crime.
He's had enough free time. He confessed to the crime, and his time is up.
I'm Sunny Hostin with ABC News. Over the past year, a team from the ABC News investigative unit joined the search for Lester Eubanks. They uncovered new leads, possible sightings, and at every turn found resistance from those who want Lester Eubanks to be forgotten. What they've uncovered is a case that's about more than murder. It's about family loyalty, a life on the run, and a first-hand look at how the U.S. Marshals are trying to solve one of the oldest fugitive cases in American history. Now they may be closer than ever. From ABC News.
Have you seen this man?
Have you seen this man?
Wondering if you have seen this man.
Have you seen this man?
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
It's the morning kickoff show with Mike Hardball Harsh and Mark Henry. Weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. Only in Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
On the text line, this was one I didn't get to yesterday. We were talking about golf, and we were also talking about lightning. And somebody said Lee Trevino was struck by lightning. He used to carry a 1-iron in his bag. He said even God can't hit a 1-iron. It's true. What happened was he was struck by lightning at the Western Open. And then when he came back, like years later, whatever, they asked him in his press conference or first meeting, are you concerned if the weather comes up lightning? Will that kind of make you think? He goes, no. He said, because I carry a 1-iron in the bag. I'm like, why? He said, because everybody knows that even God can't hit a 1-iron. You know? It came up when I was on vacation because my younger son was using my second set of clubs I took him. And he gets to the tee and he goes, should I hit this, Dad? It was a 1-iron. I was like, don't even try with that. Second hour coming up, we'll visit with Vic Schaefer here on 1300 The Zone.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. What are your rights and responsibilities? Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
Austin, San Antonio, and St. Louis.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. This is direct to keep out of reach of children.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve? Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine? Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Oh, really? That's great. Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Yeah, you just said that. Did you say I just said that? Yeah, I'm cutting you off. I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
When 60 Minutes premiered in September 1968, there was nothing like it.
We realize, of course, that new approaches are not always instantly accepted.
I'm Seth Doan of CBS News, and I'm excited to introduce a new podcast from 60 Minutes called A Second Look. The team at 60 Minutes has spent the last year digging through thousands of tapes, transcripts, and reels of film, and you're about to hear some of the sound that was never broadcast. Like 21-year-old Taylor Swift imagining her future success.
Sometimes I get really overwhelmed when I think about 10 years from now, I'll be 30. What's the sound then? What are the choices I've made at that point? Oh my God, what does my life look like?
Then there are people you may not recognize by name, but who witnessed some of the most important events in modern history. Along the way, I'll speak with some of the legendary correspondents who reported the stories, as well as those whose lives were altered after sitting down with 60. Together, we'll hear how much our world has changed.
You're working in borrowed time. You're not just saying that to scare us.
And how it hasn't.
You were either for the books or against the books. And it was almost like a civil war.
You can really draw a bright red line from 74 to 2024.
It's time for A Second Look.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
This is KVET AM Austin, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, an iHeart radio station, and your home for the Horns. Need human. He's a Texas legend, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and your host of the Craig Way Show. Here he is now, Craig Way.
Second hour of the program here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Craig Way alongside the producer, Jake Herman. We're with you up until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll visit with Texas women's basketball head coach Vic Schaefer. Talk to him about the offseason work his team's going on, the new faces on the team. And then also this updated format change, I guess is the best way to describe it, or at least in terms of seeding change for the NCAA women's tournament, which goes into effect next year. This just came down yesterday, so we'll get his thoughts on that and some other topics as well. 4 o'clock hour, Gene Watson, our MLB insider from the Chicago White Sox front office, joins us mid-season eval. Evaluating the Major League Baseball season to this point, and also a look at the All-Star game and a look back at the Major League Draft as well. So we'll have that coming up in a few minutes. During the break, I got a text from good friend Brett Mangold. He is a pretty well-known restaurateur, restaurant man in the restaurant management business here in the Greater Austin area. He's the commissioner of my fantasy football league too.
Oh, okay.
He plays. He has several teams in several different types of leagues, kind of like you do.
Sounds like me. I've had dynasty drafts all week.
Yeah. So he's always busy with that sort of thing, and has done a fabulous job as our commissioner for like the last 20 years, I guess it is, something like that. But anyway, he heard me say that, man, I may change my fantasy football team name to the Green Pit Vipers because of the poisonous snakes that have gotten loose in China. My fantasy football team name since like 1999 has been the Wampus Cats, which is like Itasca, Texas, which I always said was the quintessential high school football mascot name is Itasca, the Wampus Cats. Hopefully they'll have a better season. They had to forfeit their last 4 games of the year. They didn't have enough players to field a team. And they were a 2A team, an 11-man school, but they'd had injuries and other issues. And so they ended up they went winless last year. So hopefully it'll be a new year for the Wampus Cats. Well, I had a game last year. I had some bad luck where in our scoring rules, we have a couple of unique scoring rules, but in our league, and I don't know how this is that prevalent in other rules, but other leagues, but on a 2-point conversion pass, so a quarterback throws to a guy in the end zone for the score. How was that scored in your league?
In our league, it is 2 points.
For the guy who caught it?
For the guy who caught it and the quarterback who threw it.
He also gets 2?
He also gets 2.
Okay. In our league, the quarterback gets 1.
Which is more accurate because if you're getting 4 for a touchdown pass, a 2-point conversion should be 1.
Right. Except that the algorithm didn't catch it, and it was too late and all this stuff, and I ended up losing a game by 1 point as a result of that. Because I would have won on the tiebreaker, which was the total number of the points by your reserves.
So what do you do? Will you put it on the commissioner's desk?
He, being proactive as he was, contacted me the next morning and started off with apologies and said, hey, look, this wasn't caught in advance, and we can't correct it now. So I'm just calling to tell you.
Well, what platform are you guys using?
CBS.
Oh, there you see. There's your problem.
Yeah, well, So anyway, so I got hosed on it, and it wound up costing me. I think it made the playoffs, but it was like the 6th seed. I barely got in, and I got knocked out in the first round or something. Like it was the difference between being the 6th seed and the 3 seed, because I think I would have won my division or something like that. I don't remember that part of it. But anyway, he said, the point of all this is that he said, hey, maybe it'll bring you some new luck, the Green Pit Vipers. I said, yeah, maybe it'll get me a point on a 2-point conversion. He wrote back, touche.
Yep.
So
being a commissioner can be a thankless job.
Yeah, it is in his case. He does a fabulous job on that. And it was what it was. Sometimes things just don't work out for you. It was unfortunate. It happened, and we all learned. And he fixed it. He corrected it from that point on. The rest of the season, it did not factor in any other results the rest of the way. Because, you wouldn't want that to happen. It's like that story I told about Chi-Chi Rodriguez playing in the Legends of Golf. And Bill Schoening told this story because Bill Schoening saw this with his own eyes. That Chi-Chi was out on like number 7 or number 8 or whatever it was. He was hitting a shot there at Barton Creek at the Legends of Golf and hit a shot that was going to fly off the green. And it hit a rake on the butt and ricocheted back onto within like 18 inches of the cup, and he taps in for the birdie. And when he recapped his round, he said, blah, 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 and I made a short putt for birdie, and he just went on. So they take questions, and Bill raises his hand and says, hey, I was stationed by the green, and I saw what happened. Can I get your thoughts on what happened? So he looks at Bill Schoening's tag of the media credentials, says Bill on it. He goes, well, let me tell you something, Bill. He said, I was going to hit the 3-iron to decide to hit the 4-iron. I decided to hit the 3. I hit the 3-iron. It hit the rake, and it bounced back in. So you know what I did when I got up there? I moved that rake because I would never want that to happen to anybody else. The great Chichi Rodriguez. All right, coming up, speaking of greatness, always one of our favorites to visit with, Vic Schaefer, Texas women's head basketball coach. Next, when we continue on 1300 The Zone.
Join Austin FC at Casa Verde at In Cahoots on East 6th Street for the final week of our World Cup viewing parties. Experience the electric atmosphere and all the emotion of the tournament's final rounds. Catch the semifinals on July 14th and 15th, the third place match on July 18th, and the FIFA World Cup final on July 19th. Don't miss a moment. Join the party at Austin FC's Casa Verde for the final matches of the 2026 World Cup.
These days, it's getting harder and harder to trust what you're seeing. Who made it? Is it real? But with iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio host's product recommendations. And if you own or manage a business here or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way in creating your future customers. Make iHeart Media a part of your 2026 plan today. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. Again, that's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a social media manager.
Did you just post our Q4 earnings to your personal social media?
Oh, yeah. Used the trending audio and everything.
That's confidential financial data.
Relax. It only went a little viral.
The SEC just commented with the eyeball watching emoji.
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just talk hi. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. New. That's new. Enter it now.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
We're not in right now, but we'll call you back if you leave your name and number.
If you aren't of the age to remember, the answering machine was a physical audio recorder that plugged into your phone line. You couldn't call into it remotely. You had to wait till you got home to check your messages.
America's produced like lots and lots of stuff, just piles of stuff. The fact of the matter is all day long, every day, there are warehouses full of stuff getting just pushed off a cliff. All day, every day.
That's Ian Nagoski, who runs the Canary Records label.
Man, said that what he loves is being a guy standing at the edge of the cliff, waving his arms, going, wait, no, let me look at those first before you throw them away. I think there might be some good stuff in there. I think there might be some stories. I don't think we should throw all those away yet.
We have a season, 10 episodes of stories from that realm, of things that were just barely saved, and in some cases, not saved at all. A bizarre tale of two infamous New Yorkers.
They booby-trapped their home and turned it into a sealed fortress of ephemera.
A missing chapter of American music history.
There hasn't been a guess culturally that they matter. So they get thrown in the garbage.
A decade's worth of original television lost to the airwaves.
It's over. It's ephemeral. You're going to see something else the next second and nobody's ever going to see it.
A piece of music that's defied convention for 70 years.
I had students write down
the sounds they heard during it. And one girl said, I never realized there's so much to listen to.
And what could only be called an audio mystery.
It said nothing on it, and it clearly had been recorded, which intrigued me. What is this going to be?
These stories and more given new life, if only for a glimpse. Is this podcast a piece of ephemera in the making? A forgotten story about forgotten stories? Only time will tell. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and learn more at ephemeral.show.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
We're Sark here. Back to the Craig Way Show on your home for the Longhorns, 1300 The Zone.
Welcome back to the Craig Way Show and the voice of the Longhorns, Craig Way. Follow Craig on social media at Horn Boys.
For all the things I've done, I've got a picture in the back of my mind of what I've lost and what I've won. I've survived every situation, knowing when to freeze and when to run. And regret is just a memory written on my brow, and there's nothing I can do about it now.
As we also always mention that in the 3 o'clock hour, one of our return cuts is from a true Texas legend in Willie Nelson. Nothing I can do about it now, that particular offering. Establishing his own mark, certainly as a legend in this state, is the native Texan from the greater Houston area. And, of course, what he's doing with the Texas women's basketball team. Back-to-back trips to the Final Four. Vic Schaefer joins us on the hotline right now. Hey, Vic, I appreciate you doing this. I want to start off by asking you a question I've never asked you before, but I always wanted to ask you. I'm sitting here and I'm sipping on some iced tea, and I always remember when you were talking about making a reference to something, and then a reference would come up to, if I remember the quote, my mama's sweet tea. What made your mom's sweet tea so good?
Well, Craig, thanks again for having me on today.
Yeah.
I'm having a iced tea myself right now. Mama didn't make sweet. What made her tea so sweet is we made it with real sugar, and we didn't have sweeteners back. I can remember my dad sitting at the table putting that pink sugar in iced tea, and he looked, and this was back when, there's a big, it causes cancer and rash.
Right.
He'd look at me and he'd go, son, I'm that cancer catch up to me with these packets of pink sugar I'm putting in my tea, but he said, you better use that real sugar. And of course, I was burning calories back then when I was a kid, as fast as I could blink my eyes. And so the sugar wasn't going to catch up to me or hurt me. And so that's really what we haven't talked about my mother's lemonade. Mama's lemonade now was real lemonade. She would squeeze a half a lemon in that water and then put real sugar in there. And I'm telling you, that's my favorite mammy right there.
Wow.
It is good stuff.
I love lemonade.
It's some really good lemonade.
Yeah, no doubt. I love good lemonade. We haven't had a chance in a while, so I wanted to give, first of all, I want to give you a chance to update everybody on how the off-season work is going for your group, and what you're expecting and liking, what you're seeing from your newbies, both your transfers and your freshmen. So let me get an overview from you first on what you're seeing from your group in their off-season work.
They've been great. Love every one of them. They work so hard, and we've had great imagery of them every day that we're in there. They're working hard. Brandon, really doing a good job in there. So, man, I just love seeing them every day. We've got a great mix of couple seniors, couple juniors, and those 5 freshmen, and of course, Greg Brenner is playing with their Ireland team right now. Sarah Graves is doing an internship right now this semester, so or here this month, and so she's kind of been doing that. EC, she went back home because if she comes now overseas, she won't see them once the season starts. So we kind of made that agreement with her when we signed her that it'd be no problem to go back home and have a chance to spend some time with family, and so she's there. And but we've had some really good time in the gym and in the weight room. I'm excited about all of them. They've all really been good. Again, those freshmen are so talented. Zaya and Jada have been great additions. The 2 that we got out of the portal. Our returners have done a great job of, showing them what we do and how we do it and setting the tone. So I'm really pleased with everybody.
Let me start with the 2. You mentioned Zaya Van and Jada Bediako coming through the portal. Zaya, for folks who have watched her team play and watched SEC and even prior to that Big 12 basketball, they've seen Zaya when she played for the Oklahoma Sooners. What is it that you like about her game once she got into the portal and had your interest there and what she brings to the party for you?
Yeah, anytime you can get a kid that averaged double figures in the SEC, you that gets your attention. And I think the thing she really has in guard position that we haven't had is she not only shoots a high percentage out there and levels, but she rebounds it. Like she goes to the board, she averaged 4 rebounds a game, and we need that extra piece out there to really enhance what we do on the boards. And so, again, she can really stroke it, man. She can really shoot it. But again, off the back, she's got a great mid-range as well. And so, and she's a great, I really enjoy her personality and who she is. And of course, she works really hard too. And then Jada, she's some really good days for us. And again, you see these kids, I wish I'd had that kid for 3 or 4 years. But Jada's been good, working really hard with Lindsay at the post, and it's trying to build days with her, trying to build some consistency. Again, not getting too complicated. I've never been a person that I want you to have a bunch of different moves. I want you to have, if I come to you, I call it a number game. I want to know that you're going to be able to deliver. Whatever that move is, I can care less. And really, if I have to put a number of moves, I just want to. I want a basic move and I want to counter. If they take that basic move away, then you've got to counter. And that's really, to me, the game can get real complicated, but it's been that complicated, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. One thing I found interesting, and Jada originally being from Brampton, Ontario, which for folks who don't know, that's in the Toronto area, that area has produced some outstanding basketball talent for both men's and women. I remember Tristan Thompson was from there, Corey Joseph. They had said several on the men's side, and there's been some really good players on both the men's and women's side that have come from up that area. What do you think that is about that Brampton and Toronto, Ontario area that produces such good basketball talent?
Yeah, I remember you got 2 brothers right now that are in the summer league out in Vegas, in the summer league. So
right,
I just think that in that part of the country and that part of the world, there's really good fundamental coaches that work with these kids, when they're young, and do a great job with them, whether they're coaches or trainers. In that part of the, football is that's a big thing in Canada. And so, those kids get a lot of attention that want to play basketball versus football players. I mean, other than the CFL, the Canadian Football League, that's just not necessarily struck me as a hotbed for even collegiate talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Visiting with Vic Schaefer here. Let me get your thoughts on your freshmen and the progress they made and those who are coming through the challenges. Not only being a freshman, some of course when you come through coming off a season, if they had an injury or a medical procedure or anything like that, the things that all roll into what a freshman has to accomplish and tries to get through. Let me start with Amelia Holguin and get your thoughts on your freshman from Newport, California.
Yeah, so Amalia had a great post-high school season. She had a great high school season. Then she won just about every award for every event she was in postseason. And, she's the last of the Mamba kids. And the kids. So, but boy, the kid can really shoot it. She's a basketball player. Like, she's really smart. She's a competitor, she's really a competitive kid. And so she's looked really, really good. Again, love her competitive spirit. She's a basketball player. Like, all those kids they know the game. They've been coached a little bit. They're all highly skilled. And so I think it was yesterday. I don't know if she missed a shot for an hour. And just really lit it up. And it's kind of been that way. We've gone now. We're in our 5th week. She gets better and better each and every day.
Wow. How about Lizzie Spate?
So Lizzie, again, just another. Both those kids played on the same AAU team a year ago, and of course I just that. EYBL, Nike EYBL over the weekend, and started a new coach, and he's so proud of him. He was asking about him, and so those kids are really special, and Lizzie's been unbelievable. I mean, again, just they're just gym rats. They're always want to we can shoot with them. And again, because of time constraints, sometimes we can't, sometimes we can't. But when we can't, they're still here. And so you got to love that about him. And, Lizzie's been really good. Again, just a baller. Loves to play. Super competitive.
Wow.
So that's a good summer as well.
You were talking about international players earlier. Izzy Atute, I guess if I'm pronouncing it correctly, from Luxembourg, but played at IMG Academy. How about her?
Yeah. Man, pro already. Really physical kid. Tough, aggressive. I love her. She's going to be great for us, man. I expect her to have a really good freshman year. Just because she's got the body already. She's physical, pretty skill too, and so she's able to go spend a little time with family before school starts. So she didn't really want to leave, and man, I didn't want her to leave either, even though I'd agreed with it a while back. And she could see she was getting better. Kid loves to work. Super competitive again. Just these kids are all over competitive, man. They really they seek competition.
Wow, it's good. And we already, Vic, started to find out a bit about Brianna Crittenden and Addison Bjorn even before last season ended, once they committed and signed and things of that nature and all those national accolades. But what have you seen from those two in terms of their preparedness for their freshman campaign?
Yeah, Crittenden is going to be a monster. She reminds me so much of a young lady I had to say, Rakia Jackson, who's pro now. Long, great frame, can shoot the three, can take you off the bounce. She's got a mid-range, but just a big, long guard. You can play her, probably 3 spots, 4 if you had to, but, she's just really skilled. But, man, you can't get to her. When she takes you off the bounce and goes to the rim, like, you can't get to her. And, she's got guard skills in a 6'3" frame, and it ain't a skinny frame. It's a great frame. And so Bree is just a great kid, man, as all these kids are. Just a wonderful young lady, and just works her tail off. And again, she reminds, when you're recruiting, when you see kids play, and you've done it, there's always somebody that somebody reminds you of, right?
Yeah.
And man, Rakia Jackson was, when I took this job in Texas, if there was one thing that would have kept me in Mississippi State, it was Rakia Jackson. I did not want to leave that kid.
Wow.
I knew she was going to be so good, and I loved her, and she loved me, loved playing for us, and she was perfect for my system. And Bree Crittenden is very, very similar. His skill set, frame, body, just a pro. She's going to be really good.
Wow.
And she's coming off a little bit of a surgery. She had a trimmed up fat pad and trimmed up her knee a little bit. She'd already had the other one done. And so she's not really been cleared or had a full go day with us. She's done parts of the day, but not really, been able to kind of participate fully just yet. We anticipate that to happen before the summer's over. But she's just, she's doing what she can, and she's getting PT and training room and all that good stuff. And again, does what she can, and we love what we've seen from her. And again, a long, tall guard, can play multiple positions, does a lot of the dirty work, a lot of the work a lot of kids won't do. And so it's, we really think it's going to be hard to keep her off the floor as well. So all these kids are going to play. They're all going to play. Some are going to start. And, I'm excited about all. We're committed to them. We don't get other kids out of the portal that might have taken away from their development and their playing time. We are committed and invested in them. And we also believe in them. We believe they're going to really help us and help us win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Vic Schaefer with us for a few more minutes. Before we let you go, I texted you last night because I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I was really intrigued by this. The story being that beginning with next year, this coming season's NCAA women's basketball tournament, the top 16 teams will be placed in the bracket in their true ranking, regardless of conference affiliation. So for folks who didn't know, in the past, the top 4 teams in a league will be placed in different regions to protect them from playing each other until the Final Four. So last year, there were 4 SEC teams in the top 8. Texas was 3rd, South Carolina 4th, LSU 5th, Vanderbilt 7th. LSU was dropped down to 7th, Vanderbilt 8th. Now, if that happened going forward, the teams would remain where their seeds should have them. This looks to me, Vic, like the ones that are really could be affected by this would be the ACC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12. Those were the only conferences that had 4 or more teams in the field. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, I've had to play 2 SEC teams in the Sweet 16 the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So it can't affect me anymore. I mean, that's already catching the SEC team pretty early. So, would it put us against somebody? Probably. You hate to see that if you can avoid it. I don't understand why we do some of the things we do when men aren't doing this. I don't even know why we have to do it. But it is what it is. I just show up, tell me who I'm playing. We'll get ready to play. But, the one school that's actually had to play somebody from their conference in the third round or
Yeah.
the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. I don't think anybody else has had to do that against a team from their own league. And so, again, I think where it really comes to play is if you had to play, somebody in the Elite Eight. If you could dodge that and move people around, I think that's, because again, those teams, be fair, reward those teams that are in the top 16, the top 8, because of, whether they played the schedule or whatever they did, reward them for that. Don't punish them. And me, what we've been doing has worked out pretty well. It sounds to me like they don't like it that the SEC's had Texas and South Carolina in the Final Four the last few years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who you're playing on. But it is what it is. Like I said, I really haven't given it a lot of thought. Just, we'll try to be good every year. Whoever they want me to play, we'll play.
Yeah, I hear you. The one other thing I wanted to ask you about, because the school announced it, you've got an exhibition game coming up with UConn that's going to be up in Connecticut, either Hartford or Storrs, coming up on October 19th. And, of course, playing UConn, and you've had to play them up there, and you've had to play them, down here in Austin, and had to win over them down here in Austin as well. Can you discuss what the value of playing a program like that and playing them on the road does for your team, even though it is an exhibition game and doesn't count in the overall standings?
Yeah, again, it's an NIL opportunity. We're going to go up there this year. They're going to come back down here the following year. And, we're hoping to, obviously, they're going to hope to sell out. And we're going to hope to sell out so that we can, make some NIL money for our kids. And so that's that's the purpose of the game. We're also going to play UCLA here in Austin.
That's true.
We're playing them on, I think, October 25th.
Yeah.
And that's one weekend. I think football home against Ole Miss on the 24th. And we're going to play the 25th at the HEB Center. And so, again, another opportunity for us to make some money for our kids. And at the same time, you get a good read on what you're doing and how you're doing it early in a game that it doesn't hurt you. I mean, it doesn't hurt you for our young kids to go up and play in Storrs, Connecticut on the 19th. Okay, we'll find out a little bit about our team on October 19th, but you got a lot of time to fix whatever you find out that you didn't like. And then whatever you like, don't get too excited about it, because we don't have to worry about the next week.
It's a great point. Hey, it's always great to visit with you. I appreciate you taking the time. I know we'll visit again when we could draw a little bit closer on down the road, and I know you're excited about football season to come and everything else as well. So I appreciate you taking the time to hop on with me today, Vic.
Hey, absolutely. I always appreciate your giving me that chance. Appreciate all you do for our sport and our game, and thanks. Y'all have a great day. Praise the Lord and hook 'em horns.
That's Vic Schaefer, Texas women's head basketball coach. More coming up when we continue on 1300 The Zone.
Everything runs through Austin.
Swing and a miss! Light the tower! The Texas Longhorns have won their second straight softball national championship.
Congratulations to Texas softball on winning back-to-back national championships.
Harry going back. Warning track. Deep. It's gone. Tegan's 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss.
1300 The Zone. Your home for champions. Your home for the Horns.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
Your dog is limping, but she seems fine. Plus, you've heard they can fake it just to get what they want. So what's the deal now? You're being gaslit.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Oh, now she switched legs. What a diva.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
AM 1300 The Zone occasionally holds contests. For more information about contests on this station, go to am1300thezone.com/rules.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
It's world number 1 France against world number 3 Spain in today's World Cup semifinal. Spanish star all looking for his first goal since the group stage.
That make any difference?
There he is! Lamine Yamal, first career World Cup.
I'm hearing this.
All celebrated his 19th birthday yesterday.
Sounds
Coming up
right
tomorrow,
there.
the other semifinal with England facing Argentina.
So are you getting
Download the iHeartRadio app for live Fox coverage of every game.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
There it is, a win for the ages.
Tiger Woods is one of our most awe-inspiring sports icons. A reflection in a lot of ways of America's history, its values, and ideals.
Quarter American Indian, mother's half Thai, quarter Chinese, and quarter white. So that's why you are America's son. Yeah.
Tiger has been world famous for decades, and his story, it comes with many chapters, groundbreaking achievements.
And Tiger Woods is the 100th U.S. Open champion in history.
A shocking fall from grace.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior.
He was on Mount Everest, and now he's at the bottom of the ravine.
And of course, what many believe is the greatest sports comeback of all time.
Many doubted we'd ever see it, but here it is. The return to glory.
But few people have really gotten to know Tiger.
And winning is kind of lonely. I knew we had to keep the world at bay.
It's largely been left to the media to tell his story.
A remarkable start to what promises to be a remarkable career.
Tiger Woods doesn't just play golf, he is golf. And he's like another Gandhi.
Best in the history of golf. No question in my mind.
I'm Tiger Woods. I'm Tiger Woods. I'm Tiger Woods.
This is All American, a new series from Stitcher, hosted by me, Jordan Bell. And this season, with the help of journalist Albert Chen, we're asking,
what if the story of Tiger Woods that the media has been telling, what if it's been completely wrong?
All-American Tiger. Look out for episodes every Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
Harge and Henry, the morning kickoff. Weekdays at 7. We're back. It's the Craig Way Show with Hall of Fame broadcaster and voice of the Texas Longhorns.
Crazy.
Craig Way.
Crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted, and then someday you'd leave me for somebody new.
Well, Willie Nelson with his version of Crazy. Of course, the Patsy Cline version, perhaps the most well-known of those versions. Here on a Texan Tuesday on 1300 The Zone. Thanks again to Vic Schaefer joining us, Texas women's head coach. And it's true, they are playing 2 exhibition games against a pair of Final Four teams. They've got the defending national champions that who they'll play, UCLA, and that's going to be at the H-E-B Center in Cedar Park. And then they've got an exhibition game at UConn. It'll either be in Storrs or Hartford on October 19th. So there's a couple of big, and also they've announced they're going to play Louisville in the SEC ACC Challenge. That will be at Moody Center, and that'll be the night after the men play at Louisville in the SEC ACC Challenge. It'll be my first trip ever to the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. I saw it driving through Louisville. Linda and I were on vacation. We were driving across from St. Louis over toward the eastern part of Kentucky and saw it when I went through. I've never called a game there. Did at the old Freedom Hall once when Texas played over there, but I've never at the KFC Yum Center. But that's where the men will be, and the women will host Louisville.
So is there an exclamation mark in there you're supposed to be pronouncing?
Yeah, right. Yeah, KFC Yum Center with the accent. Yum for Spain. Right now, they're closing in on beating France, knocking out the number 1 team. They're up 2-0, and probably counting stoppage time about 10, 11 minutes left, something like that, counting the stoppage time they'll have. But they got the penalty kick goal in the first half, and then scored a second one well into the second half is when we were visiting with Vic Schaefer that Spain scored its second goal.
It was a great goal. They opened up France down the right wing, France's left side defense, and Spain actually scored a third goal. It was taken away for offside, same exact thing. Ping the ball forward up the right side. Since that third goal was taken off the board for offside, it's been all France, but Spain has not conceded yet.
Yeah, France has been much more aggressive, if desperate, at this point now, because they're down probably to about 10 minutes left for their chances, and they're down 2 goals right now at 2-0. And again, the winner of this will move on to the World Cup final on Sunday against the winner of tomorrow's semifinal between England and Argentina. And is that one in Los Angeles? The England?
No, that's in Atlanta.
That's right. That's in Atlanta. And then the championship is at MetLife, right? In the Meadowlands there. Arlington, as it turned out, or as they like to say, Dallas Stadium. Arlington is winding up, I think, hosting more matches than any, but including a semifinal, but they don't get the championship. So anyway, all right. So that's what's going on there in the World Cup. And coming up, we'll be back to wrap up hour number 2 of the program. Again, coming up in the third hour, we talk baseball, recap of the Major League Draft and Major League Baseball at the All-Star break. We'll do that with Gene Watson. He'll join us coming up next hour, but we'll be back to wrap up hour number 2 here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
Phones, laptops, cars, smart speakers. I use the iHeartRadio app. All devices, all the time. Your home for the horns. 1300 The Zone.
Hey, it's Hannah from Central Texas' #1 sports bar, Rowdy Cowboy. If you love the Longhorns as much as Rowdy does, You will have to watch all the action on our 69 big screen TVs while enjoying ice cold beer, craft cocktails, and our Texas-sized menu. And check out our Monday and Friday steak specials. So saddle up and head to Rowdy Cowboy, located off I-35 in Round Rock. Let's get rowdy. Visit us at Go Rowdy Cowboy.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Polymarket is proud to be the world's top choice to trade football.
You mean soccer?
Right, soccer. Polymarket is proud to be the world's top choice to trade soccer. Know the game better than the market? You can earn cash trading on tournament and game outcomes, goals, assists, saves, corners, and much, much more.
Download the Polymarket app and use code BALL to unlock $50 free for your first trade. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
Bank of America, sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 2026, dedicated to offering solutions to help businesses meet their goals locally and globally. More at bankofamerica.com/gamechangers. That's bankofamerica.com/gamechangers.
When power goes out and cell networks fail, AM radio can be a lifeline with local news, weather, and emergency information. But time is running out. AM radio could disappear from new cars unless Congress acts. Please text the 2 letters AM to 39179 and tell Congress to vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Text the letters AM to 39179. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop. This message furnished by the station.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
Here's something pretty disturbing I discovered while researching this podcast. This is what it actually says on the Los Angeles Police Department website. The site states that the Adult Missing Persons Unit investigates 3,200 cases a month, and 70% of those missing people are found or returned voluntarily within 2 or 3 days. It goes on to explain, and I quote here, since being a missing person is not a crime, police are given a very limited role while conducting these types of investigations. At the bottom of the webpage, it gets more disturbing. There's a section titled, What If They Never Returned? And here's the official police advice. In such situations, you may want to enlist the services of a private investigator to assist in your search. If you can't afford a PI, the police elaborate, quote, another option would be to contact the Salvation Army, which has a missing persons locate program. There is not a single sentence on the LAPD website that would lead a loved one of a missing person to have any faith that the police would properly investigate it. What the LAPD is basically saying is, if someone you love goes missing, don't overreact. They'll probably turn up unless they don't, in which case you should get someone besides the police to look into it. All this is my way of saying, if the police took missing persons cases as seriously as they do, say, bank robberies, I wouldn't have had to do this podcast in the first place and ended up chasing a violent criminal halfway around the country. I'm Neil Strauss, and you can hear the full story of To Live and Die in LA.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
Sark here. Back to the Craig Way Show on your home for the Longhorns, 1300 The Zone.
was looking at the schedule there. Vic Schaefer, I'm talking about. They have not announced the dates and the TV schedule and all that kind of stuff for the women's basketball team yet. Television is always pushes everything back on the waiting for that to come through. But we do know this. In addition to those non-conference matchups that I mentioned, playing Louisville, those two exhibition games I talked about, they're also going to have at home Alabama in conference play. Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Missouri, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and Texas A&M. So they'll play South Carolina at home this year. Remember last year they didn't play. They played them in Columbia, lost by 3, and then beat them handily in the SEC tournament championship. They get them at home this year. They'll get Tennessee at home. They'll get Vanderbilt at home, A&M at home, Florida, Missouri, Arkansas. Basically the flip of what the other, because last year they played at Arkansas, they played at Florida, they played at Missouri, at South Carolina, at Tennessee, at Vanderbilt, and the A&M. A&M is a home and home. They will get Oklahoma on the road, along with Mississippi State on the road, Ole Miss, LSU. Now, they played LSU on the road last year, but it was a home and home. They only play them once this coming season. That'll be at LSU. Kentucky, Georgia, Auburn, Oklahoma, A&M. Those are the road matchups there. The only home and away will be against A&M. All right, one more hour of the program to come up here on 1300 Zone. As the hot weather continues, the sports seem to be winding down during the summer, except, of course, Major League Baseball. But there's some other things going on as well. And, of course, we're spending more time indoors. Are you happy with how your home entertainment system is presenting all of this to you? Well, if not, why not give my friend Tom McKay a call at Audio Visual Consultations? You've heard me tell you what experts Tom and his staff are when it comes to home entertainment, but AV Consultations has expanded to become dealers and custom installers of Foresight Golf Simulator, something you can do indoors. So if you're wanting to improve your golf game, AV can get you hooked up with a Foresight simulator that can do the trick. AV Consultations now also offers full home and landscape lighting and automated lighting control. Give Tom McKay and his staff a call today at 512-255-8678. That's 512-255-8678, or you can find them on the web at avconsultations.com. Let Tom McKay and Audio Visual Consultations help you realize the home entertainment system of your dreams.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need to get the job done. With fast delivery you can depend on and access to technical product experts ready to help you meet any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
On BritBox, there is a place where stories twist like cobblestone roads, grand manners hide secrets, and stakes are higher than seaside cliffs. Find places worth getting lost in on BritBox. Watch new series like The Other Bennett Sister from the world of Jane Austen and A Woman of Substance starring Golden Globe winner Brenda Blethyn. If you want to get away, you're in the right place. Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Free trial at BritBox.com.
Booking.com is the easiest way from a day surrounded by noise to a stay surrounded by nature. That's nice. Go on, book it. It's easy. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
This whole surviving life thing is pretty tough. Some people use therapy to get through it, others use their friends, and some just fight their way through. Whatever season of life you're in right now, this podcast is for you. Hi, I'm Morgan from The Bobby Bones Show and host of the new podcast, Take This Personally.
I'm bringing on my friends and experts to cover a variety of topics in hopes of us all feeling a little less alone in this crazy world. Nicole, the neuroscientist, will help us understand why we are the way we are.
Our anxious brain or our emotional brain will make us believe things that are not necessarily true.
Jared can relate to fighting our hardest battles.
I was living on couches. Sometimes I was in my car. I was just all over the place. I think about it now, how many people open their doors to me.
We will explore what it means to change careers.
I think a lot of people put the pressure on their career to fulfill their passion, when your purpose or your passion and your calling can be something that's much deeper than just your job.
And how we can all find that special love in this wild dating era.
In order to find the right one, before you do that, you have to be able to identify the wrong one.
This podcast will be the guide you need to surviving life with a friend at your side.
If a friendship is about give and take, but we just want to give, and we're like, oh, I don't want to take, I don't want to impose, I don't want to inconvenience her, and you're not reaping the full benefits of friendship.
The first episode is out now. Download it wherever you get your podcasts.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
This is KDET AM Austin, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, an iHeart radio station. Your home for the Horns, guaranteed human.
Third and final hour of the program here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Here on a Tuesday afternoon. Greg Wade, joined by the producer, Jake Herman. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll talk baseball at the All-Star break, kind of a mid-season evaluation of the big leagues, as well as the thoughts on the Home Run Derby, and also on the Major League Draft. Gene Watson is certainly eminently qualified to converse on those topics. So Gino will join us coming up in just a few minutes to talk about those things. Also, we'll hear a little bit later on this hour from Jordan Walker and from Kyle Schwarber, the two finals in the Home Run Derby. We'll do that as well. The one other thing to mention, it's now gone final in Arlington. Someone went in and posted on the text line, "Sacre bleu."
Wait, what's that mean?
Holy cow! The French are done. The number one team knocked out, shut out in the World Cup by Spain.
2-0.
You've talked about Spain's goalie being just amazing throughout this tournament. He's conceded one goal. I think they've given up.
Though just the one. It was against Belgium
Yeah.
late in the first half. It's not just their goalie. I mean, they have
Great defense.
Hounded, high pressure, high possession. At one point in this game, they had about 60% possession. It finished 51-49, but Spain had the possession until they got up 2-0.
Yeah, really. And it's done for Mbappe and for France, at least in terms of winning the thing. They do have one more match play. I talked about this in the first hour of the program. They do have a third place match, if that matters to you. Where's the third place game being played?
I think Miami.
Okay. All right. So there'll be a third place game on Saturday. France, we know, will be in it, and they'll play the loser of the matchup between England and Argentina. You know, if it is in Miami, and if England beats Argentina, you're going to have Lionel Messi playing perhaps his final World Cup game in the stadium where he plays in the MLS, right?
I believe so.
Actually, they're playing in the larger venue, aren't they? They're not playing where what is it, Inter Miami, that the MLS team plays.
Right. That's a 27,000 seat stadium.
Right.
The
third place
new stadium. This is at Hard Rock.
Right. Exactly. So that's where that would be. Okay.
I'm sorry, Craig. I only know it as Miami Stadium now. It took me a second to keep them all
Hard
straight.
Rock is not. Yeah, it's Miami State. At least it's in Miami. You got what FIFA calls Dallas Stadium in Arlington. So, but Spain wins. Spain win, I guess they would like to say, as they do that. I was trying to explain the plural singulars to Linda about that. England advance,
Not England advances.
No. Spain advance. And you'd say, why does it? Well, you think about it. You'd say the Cowboys advance. You wouldn't say advance is. Cowboys advance. Dallas. You'd say Dallas advances, but you would say Cowboys advance.
That's where I get confused because I would think of England like Dallas.
Well, anybody would get confused if you said anytime Cowboys advance. So
okay, yeah.
The postseason.
Advance to Cancun?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, Spain are moving on, as they would like to say. Spain are moving on to the finals. And they won one, right? 2010, when they had David Mila. I think that's their one World Cup title was in 2010. I think they won.
Yep.
That was the one in South Africa, wasn't it?
It was with the Jabulani ball.
Yeah.
Which was flying everywhere like a knuckleball.
Right, exactly.
The Vuvuzelas.
Yeah, that's right. But España emerged triumphant, and they'll have a chance to win their second one when they go. Of course, England's only won one in their history. 1966, when they hosted the immortal Bobby Moffett leading the English, and they won over what was then known as West Germany, because it was, the Cold War division of Germany into East Germany and West Germany, and East Germany being the communist state and West Germany being the Democratic Republic. And West Germany played England in the World Cup final at Wembley in 1966. And it went extra time in the final, and England scored 2 goals in the extra time, in the overtime, because they don't play sudden death. You just play an extra 30 minutes. And they won. They scored 2 goals during that time. They won 4-2. So that's their one. That's England's one. Spain has won one, 2010. Argentina has won, how many is it 3 that they've won?
Our research department's on it. Yep, 3.
Yeah. I knew they'd won in 86 with Maradona, and then they won 78, was it? They won when they beat the Dutch
in Buenos Aires.
Yeah, when they were hosting, and then of course they won the last World Cup. So we'll see. We'll see if Messi, and I know a lot of folks were looking forward to perhaps seeing Messi versus Mbappe to see Argentina against France. Won't happen now. They'll if France.
Yeah, we'll have a different final than last time.
Well, Argentina against France will happen if it happens for third place. So maybe there's something useful out of the third place match there.
I still have third place matches above the Summer League.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. And I know third place matches. I went through this whole thing about the NCAA basketball tournament in the first hour of the program about the third place. They used to have a third place game in the NFL. They did.
That seems so inconceivable to me.
Yeah, they actually had it. And it started off with a very altruistic purpose. This was in the days, it happened during the decade when the NFL and the AFL were in existence, because this didn't happen until the AFL came along. And the NFL, for a couple of reasons. One, the biggest reason was for the players' pension fund, that the proceeds would benefit the players' pension fund. And 2, for increased television exposure, as they had this battle with the AFL going on in the decade of the 60s, had a game originally officially titled the Burt Bell Benefit Bowl. And what it was, Burt Bell had been the NFL commissioner who had passed away, and Pete Rozelle took over in 1960. And it became better known as the Playoff Bowl. And by the way, that's what we call our third place game in the fantasy league, is the Playoff Bowl. That's what that is.
I think my dad's league calls it the toilet bowl.
Okay.
Oh, that's something else, actually.
That's something you could refer to that.
That's the consolation bracket
Yeah.
in a high points contest.
Okay, well, this is a consolation game, or it was. It was a third place game. And it matched the runners up. And I have to put it this way, runners up, because of the first 7 years, I think, of the way it was structured. The runners up from the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference in the NFL. Okay, so from 1960 through 1966, they didn't have playoff games in the NFL unless two teams tied in a division. The Packers and Colts tied in 65, and they had a playoff that went 2 overtimes, and the Packers won to go on and start a string of winning 3 straight NFL titles under Lombardi, 65 through 67. But in the first 7 seasons, 1960, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, and 66, the first 7 years, all they had was Eastern Conference and Western Conference. You had no playoff game. And the 2 winners would meet in the NFL championship game. The 2 runner-ups would meet in this Burt Bell Benefit Bowl, which, like I said, became known as the Playoff Bowl. So the runner-ups in these would play. And the first 3 years, it was won by the Detroit Lions because they were the runner-up to the Packers all 3 of those years, 60, 61, and 62, when Green Bay was winning the West and really getting cranked up under Lombardi. And they beat, I think, the Eagles. They beat the Steelers, I think. Anyway, they won the first 3. The Packers had to play in it after the 63 season when they lost out. The Bears ended up winning the NFL title. And they played in it, the Packers did, in back-to-back years, 63 and 64. 63 season, they beat Cleveland in it. 64, they lost to St. Louis. The Cardinals actually finished second. Cardinal football, St. Louis Cardinal football. Vince Lombardi had enough of that thing. He used to say of it, it's a hinky-dink game played in a hinky-dink town by hinky-dink teams. That's what he called it. All the players look at it was hinky-dink me. The game was played in Miami. They played it in the Orange Bowl. There was no NFL team in Miami at the time. There wasn't even one in the AFL until 66 when the Dolphins came as an expansion. But the NFL played it all the way through 1969, the last year before the merger made it NFC and AFC. So you should know that the most decorated teams of the playoff bowl, the most successful teams, were the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams and the Cowboys. The Cowboys, when they in that whole thing of being next year's champions and all that kind of stuff, won a couple of them, and they also lost one. The trivia question, the Cowboys' first ever postseason game was 1965. It was the playoff bowl, and they lost to the Baltimore Colts. And that was their first ever postseason game. The NFL later decided, the last one was played in 1969. The Rams beat the Cowboys 31-0. It was the last one. The NFL later decided that those games would only count as exhibitions. So if you look at an NFL record manual, you might find a little separate category, but they're classified now as exhibitions. They're not even classified as a postseason game anymore. Much unlike, like I said, the NCAA basketball tournament still counts the third place game as a Final Four game because it took place on Final Four weekend in that city, in that arena.
And Bob Bradley's record.
Bill Bradley.
Bill Bradley.
Yep, absolutely.
Bob Bradley was the U.S. soccer manager.
That's right. Bill Bradley, the former outstanding great player in college at Princeton, played for years with the Knicks, part of 2 NBA, and then was a senator for a year, ran for president at one time. Bill Bradley did. But, they actually still in the NCAA record books count that as a Final Four game, even though it was a third place game. All right. They don't play for third place in Major League Baseball. They play for winning it and getting to the World Series and winning that. Who's going to do that? We're going to talk with Gene Watson to talk some baseball. Coming up next here on 1300 The Zone.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival,
presented by Capital One,
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena. Streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com.
Brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile, proud partner of the 2026 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Get that, this is my song feeling, only at Metro.
Join Austin FC at Casa Verde in cahoots on East 6th Street for the final week of our World Cup viewing parties. Experience the electric atmosphere and all the emotion of the tournament's final rounds. Catch the semifinals on July 14th and 15th, the third place match on July 18th, and the FIFA World Cup final on July 19th. Don't miss a moment. Join the party at Austin FC's Casa Verde for the final matches of the 2026 World Cup.
You know what your customers are doing right this second? The exact same thing you are, listening to me. Which, let's be honest, is kind of flattering. But my point is, ads on iHeartRadio actually get heard. In the car, at the gym, on the couch, while people are walking their dogs. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? You're a good boy. That's right. You're a good boy. So why not make the next ad about you? Get started today. Call 844-844-iHeart or go to iHeartAdvertising.com. That's 844-844-iHeart or iHeartAdvertising.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, rock star. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From the Lorenz and Lorenz Traffic Center.
Here's where traffic is building. 35 southbound between MLK and Riverside. 5-minute delay. Speaking of MLK, there is an accident there at Springdale Road. That intersection, they are working to get it cleared in the meantime. Will be some delays associated with it. And then Mopac northbound between Windsor and 45th, maybe 2-3-minute delay. I'm Kat Cortez with your Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at Progressive.com.
Now here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Dollar. That's dollar. Enter it now.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the OSAA, are the 99,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Oregon. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible, because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, covering the 40 acres. It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
A little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you need to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Well, in the 4 o'clock hour, we always say we bump back with our ace in the hole. There we have George Strait music, but when it comes to baseball, our ace in the hole is none other than Gene Watson, the front office man from the Chicago White Sox, who has been called both an ace in the hole and just an a-hole, right? Sometimes, is that right?
That's exactly right. More times the latter than the other. So what's going on?
Hey, it's great to visit with you again. I wanted to catch up. I mean, obviously, I'm coming off vacation, but you're coming off the draft. We're at the All-Star break. It just seemed like a great convergence to visit about a lot of things. Before we get to the draft, let's kind of work backward a little bit. First of all, your thoughts on the Home Run Derby last night. Did you like the changed format and the excitement it seemed to generate? And you've talked at length in the past about what a exciting young talent Jordan Walker is.
I really did love it. I loved it for Muni Murakami, especially because he's coming off an injury, and for the fans globally to be able to see him swing the bat in the Home Run Derby, I thought that was great. And had there been a timer on it, he wouldn't have been able to do it. Coming off the injury, it just wouldn't have been something that he physically could have done. So we loved it as an organization because he got to get some extra swings in, get his rhythm and timing back, coming back from an injury. But my gosh, Jordan Walker, I'm so happy for that young man and his family. He made more in the Home Run Derby by winning than he will all year long in his salary with the Cardinals. And this is a guy that a couple of years ago, a lot of teams could have had him. He was not playing well and was sent back to AAA. And I know it's just a Home Run Derby, but anytime you can gain some personal momentum in your career and put yourself on the radar like he did last night, it's certainly great for the game and certainly great for the player. And I'm so happy for him.
Do you think also that this is really poignant given what the storm clouds on the horizon about the possibility of a work stoppage and a new collective bargaining agreement, all of that kind of stuff is out there. And yet here's a guy who's making, in the Major League Baseball world, peanuts in terms of a salary at $799,400, and he gets $1 million for winning the Home Run Derby. It's kind of a nice poetic thing for him to be able to get that right, especially in this day and time of what we're talking about labor and money and all that stuff.
It really is. It's such a great thing for a young man like him on a lot of levels to be able to win it and the exposure it brings to him. The Cardinals have had a great year so far. They've had a lot of young players that have stepped back up and done a good job. And so just a great event. I love the new format, which was basically the old format. It gives the fans a little more time to get to know the players. And it's just better all around for everybody participating.
Gino, let's talk about the draft. And I know you were very, very busy as well. And in looking at what your team and your organization did, I saw a lot of really good comments about your second-round pick, Cole Prosek, I guess. And is it Roch Cholowsky, the shortstop? I want to give you a chance to talk about the guys you got.
Well, we're so excited about Roch Cholowsky. It really came down to him, the college shortstop from UCLA, versus Grady Emerson, the high school shortstop from Fort Worth Christian High School, who's going to be just a tremendous talent. But at the end of the day, with where our major league team is right now and the unexpected surge that we have in 2026, Roch's timetable to the major leagues just fits a little bit more. He's a tremendous leader. The best line I've ever heard about his defense is that he's an arrogant defender because he does it so easy at shortstop. And just a quality human being. His father's a scout with the Cincinnati Reds. He was raised in the game. And so we're super excited about him. And then at 34, we took Landon Tomey. You might remember that last name, the son of Jim Tomey out of Nazareth Academy in suburban Chicago. Jim works for us as a special advisor, and Landon is a left-handed hitting shortstop that has some sneaky power for a guy that's about 5'10". He's a plus runner. He creates a lot of havoc on the base paths, and he's the guy that's going to be able to move all over the diamond. And then Cole Prosek, one of the top left-handed hitters in high school ranks this year. And so we're super excited about all of our picks. We've got a wonderful room full of a lot super intelligent, smart baseball men and a lot of super quality ex-major league players, and it just makes for a fun environment during the draft.
You never leave a stone unturned when you're perusing the possibility of a prospect, and you ask some hard questions. How difficult was that conversation with Jim Thome about Landon?
Oh, man. Hey, today, I mean, even today, it's like, hey, people have got to be able to tell you the truth. And Jim and Landon, it's a very unique relationship. The relationship with the White Sox organization is super unique, and where a lot of organizations would shy away from the situation. That's what makes this one even more special, is that Jim is so understanding how hard the game is, that everybody's got a job to do. And I asked him last week, I said, hey, have you asked Lando how he feels about this? And he said, yeah, I have. And he wants to raise a flag in Chicago. So, it's a unique situation, but Jim's such a special guy and Landon's such a special talent that at the end of the day, you take the best player on the board, and Landon was there for us, so we took him.
I could not let this pass. As painful as it is to mention that you got Joey Volchko in the third round, for folks who may remember, yeah, that's the guy who really put it to Texas in the College World Series. He was amazing. Keith Moreland that night working the broadcast said what he did with his changeup and what he did with his slider was absolutely amazing to watch.
Yeah, this is a special talent. His secondary pitches are so unique, and he's such a competitor. You don't ever want to put limitations on the players. The players will always tell you when they're ready. But, when you look back, in 2014, we call a reliever up from TCU, first-round left-hander whose name I can't remember, in October. And so you never know what's going to happen. This is a super talented reliever that has a chance to move quick, and we were really excited to get him.
Did the draft go? I mean, there's always surprises. There's always unknowns. There's always things that folks may have not expected to happen. But by and large, did this draft go, not only for your organization, but overall in the majors, go about like how most drafts, even though the draft has evolved and become different over the past few years?
I wouldn't say that it did, Craig. I mean, the thing that's changed so much about the draft is the NIL money in college baseball. And there's so many kids that are so high academic now that are going to Stanford and other places, Notre Dame. And so, when the players start to slide down the board, and because you have a slotting system and a pool in the top 10 rounds, as players begin to slide down the board, the signability of them becomes lesser and lesser, because the signing bonus is going to be way less than what they might get at LSU or Arkansas or University of Texas. And so that's the one unique thing, is that, kids are, a lot of kids are going to school. And, I personally believe that there's no better way to become a big leaguer than playing baseball every day in professional baseball, with the development, the schedule, and the travel, and just getting acclimated to the pro game. But college baseball is bigger and better than it's ever been. And with the NIL money, it's kind of leveled the playing field once you get past that third round. And so college baseball is going to thrive. Professional baseball is going to thrive. But for the players that want to play at the major league level, there's no better thing to do than to sign out of high school.
Well, and what you did, what you just laid out there, you mentioned Stanford, you mentioned NIL. You think about this in this day and age, how just absolutely inconceivable might it be to think about a couple of guys who were highly decorated playing at Stanford who left for NIL purposes, and one of them's on your major league roster right now in Breen Montgomery, and then the other one is that it comes to mind is Temo Becerra, who played at Texas this year, that transferred in from Stanford. I mean, so even a Stanford education, and those guys were going to finish their degrees anyway, but a Stanford education sometimes, or a Notre Dame education, in the case of a Carson Tinney, or some other places, the education might wind up taking the back seat if that NIL money is as attractive as it has become.
No question. It's only gotten bigger. I think there's going to be eventual donor fatigue with all this, which may swing it back our way. I know there's been a lot of conversation in the collective bargaining agreement about high school players not being in the draft, which could affect a lot of things. Players being able to be drafted every year in college baseball, which could affect the landscape a lot. But it's a difficult decision. My son was drafted out of high school. He was raised in minor league baseball. It scared the heck out of me. So every family is different. Every player is different. But the NIL money has certainly leveled the playing field when it comes to signability.
Gene Watson joining us here on the program. All right, let's get to the topic that eventually it'll get down the road to when it's going to happen. But I got a little chuckle about this, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. So Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, and the interim executive director of the Players Association, Bruce Meyer, had some differing views on that level the field ad campaign that expressed the league's desire for a salary cap. And Manfred said this morning, quote, "I think when you have a difficult public issue, particularly when the other side of the issue is being very public about what their views are on the negotiation, I think it's incumbent on us to keep our fans informed of our view of the world, particularly given sometimes the other side may not be completely accurate or fair in terms of their recitation of what's going on." Meyer comes back with a quote, "I've watched over the last 2 years how the owners, the commissioner's office try to convince fans and consumers of their product that the product is broken. I think it's perverse." He said, "Case in point is leading up to this All-Star game. Any of us who watch baseball are seeing ads, not so much for the All-Star game, not promoting the game, not promoting the players, but promoting the league's desire for a salary cap." So the two sides, obviously, I mean, this is emblematic of how things are kind of widespread and far apart right now, aren't they, Gino?
It is. And the one thing I think is important for both sides to recognize is that you have to see the game through the eyes of the fan. That's the most important thing that you can do. I know it's a business. I know the owners have their side. I know the players have their sides, but this is a different society than it was in 1994. And fans, they have a lot of other different options when you look at the WNBA and Savannah Bananas and all the World Cup and all the things that have taken the country by storm this summer. The entertainment dollars being spread thinner than ever. And so I think it's important to recognize that right now the game is thriving. Attendance is up in almost every ballpark. Viewership is up in almost every market. And even in a time on a national basis where they've spread the viewership around from Netflix and other Apple TV, viewership is up. And so I think it's important to recognize that we have a really, really good thing going, and both sides should recognize that. And I know they do. And I know they're trying very hard to reach a resolution, and hopefully they'll make that happen.
Let me get your thoughts here, kind of a midseason evaluation. And I just run through this very quickly. In the American League, at the All-Star break, the Rays are up 3 games on the Yankees. The Red Sox, by the way, have won 9 in a row, and that's pulled them within 10 games of first. In the Central, your ball club, the White Sox, tied for first with the Guardians, up 3 games on the Twins, 6.5 on the Tigers. In the West, the Rangers up 1.5 games on the Mariners and 3 on the Astros on that. First of all, your thoughts on the American League. Is there any debate that your ball club is the biggest surprise in all of Major League Baseball this season?
No question. And it's a testimony. And I mean, look at Oklahoma at the collegiate level and what they were able to do because of culture and team. And that's really been the driving force of us. I mean, this team in 2026, they don't know anything about the 2024 team that lost more games in the history of baseball. They just know that they love to play for each other, play with each other, and have a love for the game. And that's really been, when you inject and you feed a lot of energy and a lot of talent into a roster, things can turn around quickly. We have a long way to go when it comes to winning a world championship and competing with the likes of the Dodgers and the Yankees and teams like that. But we're going to continue to push and feed the machine and do what we can do. But I think the interesting part about the American League is that second wild card and the Red Sox getting hot and some of these teams that have gotten healthy and started to play well, most of the teams that I've spoken to in the last 24 hours in preparation for the deadline are one of two things. We're not tapping out. We're going to keep going, or we're going to evaluate the first 7 to 10 games out of the break and then make a decision. And there are going to be some markets that are sitting there 3 and 4 games out of the wild card, and their front offices may just say, you know what? We don't have a chance to win a world championship. That's our goal to do it. And the only way to do it is to multiply off of some of the talent we have at the major league level. And if you go that route, you can set your organization up better for the next 2 to 3 to 5 years than if you try to hope to get in on the wild card this year and not do it, or get in and get eliminated right away. So there's going to be a lot of teams in the American League that have a lot of really tough decisions when it gets to August 3rd.
In the National League, the Braves are up 2 games, and that's stumbling down the stretch toward the All-Star break. They're up 2 games on the Phillies, 4 on the Marlins. In the Central, the Brewers are up 5 on the Cubs. Cardinals next back at 8.5. In the West, despite being swept at home to stagger in to the All-Star break, the Dodgers are still up 11.5 on the Diamondbacks, 12.5 on the Padres. How about your thoughts on the National League?
I think we all know the Dodgers are not only the clear favorite in the National League, but a clear favorite to probably win their 3rd straight world championship. The Milwaukee Brewers are super, super talented. And I think a lot of what dictates the National League is who's going to push in with their prospects to improve their major league club. I look for Atlanta to be super aggressive at the deadline. And Philadelphia kind of knows who they are as a team. They, they're in a lot of ways like Milwaukee and the Dodgers. They're wishing away to get to October. But I think Atlanta, because they've gotten healthy, because they're so super talented offensively, I think that they're the team that could push in to go get some pitching. But the problem is the more teams stay close in the next 2 weeks, the smaller the market's going to be to go out and acquire that pitching. It's definitely a seller's market right now. And so you got to be willing to give up some really high octane talent if you want to improve your club this year at the deadline.
All right. I want to get your thoughts on the All-Star game. I know you've been many times. And I know you've enjoyed it a great deal. What do you look for in an All-Star game when you watch, whether you're in the ballpark or at home watching? What do you look for when you watch an All-Star game?
Well, certainly the best players want to play the best on the biggest stage, and with the younger guys, you can get some of that. I mean, I get real excited about Muni Murakami and him being in the game. And Miguel Vargas, who we acquired from the Dodgers, who went through so much in the last 2 years to get to this All-Star game. Well, what's it look like for him coming out of it? What's it going to do for him as a leader? Is he going to carry on and be a perennial All-Star every year, or is this a one-time thing? And a guy like Tristan Peters for us, who's just been an incredible addition to our organization from Tampa Bay over the winter to make that All-Star game. Like how players come out of the game and so much is learned. I mean, I've heard so many stories about players going into the game, not knowing what to expect, and coming out of it with as much information from a development standpoint and what it takes to really stay at the major league level, just from being around other players that are just as good as them or better. And so for that's what it is for me, is evaluating what it looks like coming out. But we all know that the guys that really, really love to play the very best against the best. And so that's something to pay attention to tonight.
We'll certainly look forward to it. Gino, great to visit with you again, and we'll pick it up next week and do our weekly conversation next week. Thanks for the time.
All right, Craig. Thanks so much. You guys take care.
You bet. That's Gene Watson from the Chicago White Sox front office. All-Star preview, recap of the draft, and kind of a midseason evaluation of Major League Baseball.
By the way, Brandon Finnegan was the pitcher he was thinking
Brandon Finnegan. There you go, Gino. Brandon Finnegan. That's right. Yeah, I remember Brandon Finnegan. Good pitcher. Outstanding pitcher as well. All right, we have more coming up here on 13 Under the Zone.
Get ready for kickoff with the 2026 SEC Football Media Days. Touchdown, Texas! 1300 The Zone will be live from Tampa, Florida. Hear exclusive interviews with Steve Sarkisian.
But I really like this team. I think we've got a very talented roster. Now we got to put it all together.
Arch Manning.
Our team's been good. We got a close team, young group. We're really motivated, so we're fired up for the year.
And more to get you ready for kickoff on your home for the Hordes. From the ABA Heating and Cooling Weather Center, this is Zone Weather.
Austin area weather calling for a flood watch still in effect until 7 Thursday evening. Cloudy skies tonight, a low of 73. Thunderstorms tomorrow. We'll see a high of 79, another low of 73 for tomorrow night.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell's Luxe Boxes. Choose the $5, $7, or $9 box. Now with new Fajita Street Chalupas. Limited time at participating stores while supplies last. Prices vary. Freezes and specialty drinks not included. Tax extra.
This World Soccer Report sponsored by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
Spain is heading to the World Cup final after beating France 2-0 this afternoon. Pedro Porro scored in the 58th minute to double Spain's lead.
The return, Pedro Porro!
Spain has outscored their opponents 13-1 in the tournament so far. They'll face the winner of Argentina and England in the final.
Download the iHeartRadio app for live Fox coverage of every game.
Twin Peaks is unmatched for every match. With 29-degree draft Michelob Ultras, handcrafted Casamigo margaritas, and a scratch-made menu, and screens that will put you on the front row of every game. It's all going down at the Lodge. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
It's August 2023, a county government meeting in Pennsylvania's Lehigh Valley. A young woman, early 20s, steps up to the mic to speak.
My 2-month-old son was happily drinking milk from his bottle when he quickly started choking, turned blue, and went limp. My boyfriend transported our son to the changing table as I grabbed an anti-choking device and my boyfriend began assembling it. 2 pumps of the device and my son was conscious, gasping for air and coughing up milk.
They all went to the ER to make sure the baby was okay.
But upon arriving at Lehigh Valley Hospital, the diagnosis quickly became something so different.
One of the doctors had a theory.
She stated to my father and mother-in-law that we are young first-time parents who got frustrated with our baby and violently shook him to make him stop crying, and a confession would only make things easier for us.
The parents were told to leave the hospital without their son, and he wouldn't come home for 7 whole months.
I'm a postpartum mom dealing with the grief and the trauma of my son being ripped from my arms. And I'm a mom who lost everything in less than 24 hours due to one doctor's misdiagnosis. Enough is enough.
And then the next person speaks, and the next one. The stories they tell form a pattern of parents walking into a Lehigh Valley hospital to get help for a child, only to leave without them. And the same doctor's name kept coming up again and again. A pediatrician. I ask you, what kind of doctor does this? That's what I wanted to know too. From Serial Productions and the New York Times, I'm Diane Neary, and this is The Preventionist, a story about a doctor and the rise of a powerful field of pediatric medicine.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
In 1982, Atari players across the country settled into their shag carpeting. Homework went by the wayside, and so did sleep. These gamers only had one thing on their minds: Sword Quest. This wasn't just a new game. Epic and ambitious, the company promised $150,000 in prizes to 4 finalists, with the Sword of Ultimate Sorcery going to the grand prize winner.
Just got this, $3.35 an hour minimum wage job, and next thing you know, I got this freaking $25,000 prize.
But what started as a video game promotion would become one of the most controversial moments in 80s pop culture, with broken promises, urban myths, payoffs, and a central mystery that's consumed fans for decades.
I never ended up seeing these prizes in person.
How did all those prizes, valued at $150,000, become something of a lost treasure? I'm Jamie Loftus. Join us for The Legend of Sword Quest, a podcast about the fall of Atari and the disappearing Sword Quest prizes. We'll follow the quest for missing treasure across 4 decades. Listen to The Legend of Sword Quest on the iHeartRadio app.
Those
Sark here. Back to the Craig Way Show on your home for the Longhorns, 1300 The Zone.
Back to the Craig Way Show. Connect with Craig through the text line by texting ZONE to 81530, followed by your message. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Here on a Texan Tuesday, that little old man from Texas, Z Top. Thanks to Gene Watson joining us on the program, and he was talking about that home run derby and a guy like Jordan Walker, who teams, he said any number of teams could have had him at that point, and as evidenced by the fact his yearly salary this year is quote unquote only, I say it in baseball vernacular, $799,400, and he won $1 million last night. So what did it mean to Jordan Walker to win this home run derby, to do it in Philadelphia, to be able to get past Kyle Schwarber and to win that $1 million prize?
I can't even describe how it means to win it. It was a lot of swings, a lot of pressure, but I think I just had fun no matter what. Like every round, I was having a good time. You know, as a kid, I grew up. My favorite thing to do playing baseball is in home runs. So when the competition is, dedicated to doing it, I'm gonna have fun doing it.
We heard him in the first hour of the program give a lot of credit to his batting practice pitcher, because I think we become more aware of it in recent home run derbies, how important it is to have a really good batting practice pitcher, a guy you work with, a guy you feel comfortable, who can give it to you in the spot and at the speed that you need to have a legitimate shot with your swing to knock it out for a home run. And so he discussed the importance of the batting practice pitcher, Kleininger Terran, I guess it is.
I mean, I don't think, if y'all know, throwing BP is not as easy as it looks, and he made it look easy. I've been hitting with KT for three years now? Yeah, so, and I've always been like, yeah, it's BP's money, and every time I'm not in this BP group, I'm a little upset. But, yeah, I'm glad to, have him throw me just some really unbelievable BP, and as much pressure as I was feeling, I can imagine he was nervous as well, but he overcame that. Overcame it really well.
Did a really good job. And also to his credit, Jordan Walker said he hoped that his accomplishment will in some way inspire and continue to help the initiatives and efforts to get young African-American and minority players more involved in baseball than what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's been nice to go on Instagram and see a lot of the minority baseball players, either that I, from all the way up in the majors down to guys that maybe whose careers I covered when I was broadcasting in the Northwoods League, posting about it and reposting that particular quote from Jordan Walker.
Who did you say? You texted me when I was sitting at that Cardinals Diamondbacks game a couple of weeks ago. There was somebody that was playing in the game that you called in the Northwoods League.
That's right. Lou James Groover, who was going by Gino Groover at the time.
Okay.
At the time, it was a summer where he was transferring from Charlotte to Miami. After that next season at Miami, he was drafted in the second round or maybe the third round by the Diamondbacks. And he's been playing platooning at first base for them and doing a nice job.
Yeah, made the bigs. Kyle Schwarber had to be disappointed. His third shot looked to be his best shot to win it, and in front of his own home fans who were clearly in favor of him, as was pointed out by Jake in the first half. They were booing anybody other than Bryce Harper, who was going up. They were booing every other guy. And Schwarber was asked about the crowd and how supportive they were. Did they even exceed his expectations?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, I was saying from pitch one where I felt like I was just going too hard, trying way too hard, because I wanted to go get it, and I wanted to do it for them. And I was like, man, talking to yourself, you're like, I just got to slow it down here, because it's rowdy, and you feel it, you feed off that. So, felt like it kind of got easier. It got louder as we went, but it felt like it got easier to kind of tame it once we kept going forward.
All right. So there it is. And your home run derby champion, Jordan Walker. We'll be back to wrap up today's edition of the program coming up here on 1300 The Zone.
everything runs through Austin.
Swing and a miss! Light the tower! The Texas Longhorns have won their second straight softball national championship.
Congratulations to Texas softball on winning back-to-back national championships.
Harry going back. Warning track. Deep. It's gone. Tegan's 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss.
1300 The Zone. Your home for champions. Your home for the Horns.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Polymarket is proud to be the world's top choice to trade football.
You mean soccer?
Right, soccer. Polymarket is proud to be the world's top choice to trade soccer. Know the game better than the market? You can earn cash trading on tournament and game outcomes, goals, assists, saves, corners, and much, much more.
Download the Polymarket app and use code BALL to unlock $50 free for your first trade. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
When power goes out and cell networks fail, AM radio can be a lifeline with local news, weather, and emergency information. But time is running out. AM radio could disappear from new cars unless Congress acts. Please text the 2 letters AM to 39179 and tell Congress to vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Text the letters AM to 39179. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP. This message furnished by this station.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
1971. It was a simpler time, a groovy time. Soul Train had just started chugging along. Everyone had a lava lamp for some reason. Weeble started to wobble, but as we all know, they don't fall down. It's really something. But it wasn't all Weebles and bell-bottoms. There was also the Vietnam War and a growing nationwide movement protesting it.
Look behind you. See the thousands marching today.
Across the country, people were speaking up, and the more they did, the more they learned about the hidden underbelly of the most powerful law enforcement agency in the land. I'm Ed Helms, host of Snafu, Season 2, Medberg, the story of a daring heist that exposed J. Edgar Hoover's epic FBI snafu. Hear the incredible true story that almost got buried.
I was told that it might not be published the next day or might not be published ever.
As told by the ordinary citizens who took extraordinary measures.
Getting caught was virtually inevitable.
To expose J. Edgar Hoover's secret FBI.
Many of the techniques were clearly illegal, but justified in the interest of national security.
If it meant some risks that were involved, well, that's what citizens sometimes have to do.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
Back to Craig Way, the voice of the Longhorns on 1300 The Zone.
Get ready to wrap it up here. Who do you like tonight?
Well, I think
are you like me in that your team's in the National League and you root for the National League? You just kind of have a feeling every year that the American League's going to win.
Yeah, but I love the National League pitching this year.
Yeah,
I love their pitching.
I wish Ohtani could have pitched.
That would have
helped.
helped.
Could have played in it. He didn't play because the word came down from the Dodgers. He's had that sore knee, so he didn't even make the trip to Philadelphia, even though he was selected as the DH, but has to be replaced in the lineup. He is going to play against the Yankees this weekend when they open up the post All-Star portion of the season in the Bronx. So
it's going to be fun to watch the managers go toe-to-toe, right? Find the right matchups.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be a lot of fun. And then you always look for the guy from your team to get in. How many Nationals are in it?
C.J. Abrams will hit cleanup. Foster Griffin will pitch, and James Wood will come off the bench.
Yeah, you get 3 guys. There are 6 Dodgers representing, including Ohtani, of 5 active ones in there. We'll see how many of them get to play. I don't know I'd like to see Robleski pitch. I don't know if he's going to get a shot, though.
Oh, those are champagne problems, Craig.
Yes. That's true. All right. We'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock for the producer, Jake Herman. Thanks, by the way, to Vic Schaefer, Texas women's basketball coach, for joining us, as well as Gene Watson to talk baseball. And for Jake, I'm Craig. Thanks for joining us. Bucky BK up next. We'll visit with you tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock right here on 1300 The Zone.
Hey, I'm not one to say I told you so, but do you remember